Okay, folks. So till now we have kind of a brief discussion about the game. Now let's go ahead and kind of deep dive into internals of it, right? So if we kind of talk requirement wise, like what are the requirements we need to build that game, to build our snake and ladder? So obviously there will be some UI with which the user will interact or the player will interact. So from UI or user interface perspective, so we'll have quite things. So it's like, first of all, we need a board. So I have kind of put a board here. You people can see this board. So we need a board. And obviously we need coins. So the coins, based on players and everything, the coins will move. So we need coins on the board to move it, like which player is at which position. Obviously we need buttons, because we will need button to kind of roll the dice, or based on which player is playing. So we need button controls to kind of move the players and to roll the dice and all those things. So we need buttons. And obviously, like some area to display the information, like who won, or kind of what is that we got on dice, or like whose chance it is, right? So we need some display info area. So from user interface perspective, these are the important things that we need. Now let's go to the second part, which is backend logic. So when I talk of backend logic, in backend you need a board, right? And with snakes and ladders. So obviously we can keep it as a 2D array, or maybe we can keep it as a 1D array, whatever way. So it's like we need to represent it in some data structure, and kind of there we need to represent snakes as well as ladders, so that player can move accordingly when a snake or a ladder is hit. Obviously we need dice, and the dice will be rolled and give some number, so that whoever player has rolled the dice, they will move as a result of number on the dice. And finally, no game is useful without its players. So we will have a player, and how we maintain it, player will have certain properties, like maybe it's color of dice or something, and then we make sure that the each player is getting kind of alternate turns and everything. So kind of these are our requirements from the backend and UI both perspective. And now let's move ahead to see what is the technology or tech stack we will use to fulfill these requirements of backend and user interface. So on technological front, we will use JavaFX. We obviously need to create this user interface. So we'll be using JavaFX for user interface. And as you all know your language Java, so we'll use Java to write all our backend logic. And then kind of with user interface and the backend logic, we'll be able to kind of complete our project and finish it. Now let's start our discussion regarding JavaFX and kind of creation of our application, and explanation of some code that is auto-generated. So first of all, kind of I'll go ahead and explain what is JavaFX. As I have already explained why we need it. We need it for creation of our user interface. So let's see what is JavaFX and kind of how we can create an application in JavaFX. So what I'll do is kind of I'll open my browser, and here I'll type JavaFX. Simple Google search. So if you see the first kind of option that appeared, so JavaFX is an open source next generation client application platform for desktop, mobile, and embedded system built on Java. So that's kind of to generate client applications. I hope you must be knowing about what is let's say client application, what is server application and all. Now let's open this Java T-Point website. So this is really good full, and a lot of things has been explained very well here. Now I have opened it. The thing is, I highly encourage all of you to go through this complete document and read everything. Read everything that is given there. But I'll go through some of the important parts, and then maybe I can leave rest of the things for you to explore. So the first important thing is, if you see, JavaFX is a library that is used to develop desktop application as well as rich internet application. So like it's kind of a library to develop applications. And the important thing is, applications built in JavaFX can run on multiple platforms, including web, mobile, and desktop applications. Okay, so this is kind of brief, and now I'll go ahead and highlight some more things. You must have heard about Java Swing, or may have made some project in Java Swing as well. So here, if you see, JavaFX is intended to replace Swing in Java application as a GUI framework. What is GUI? I don't know if you people know it or not, but when I say the GUI, that is graphical user interface. Graphical user interface. So it's like JavaFX is used to kind of build the GUI, build the graphical user interface, and it's kind of obviously intended to replace Swing, means it will or maybe replace Java Swing in near future. It provides more functionalities than Swing, and it has its own components. Important thing is, like, own component that does not depend on operating system, means they are not dependent on OS, they are independent of it. It's lightweight and everything. These things are important. So here we will use this JavaFX library to build our user interface. Now you can go through the history, like when and all, how things happened. This is kind of description of everything that is kind of there, and these are kind of a lot of topics, basics about JavaFX, 2D shapes. We need shapes, we have text formatters, a lot of things. JavaFX UI controls, label, button, radio button, scroll bar. Then here you can see animation, we will use this, and Java transformation, this charts, and a lot of things. So I encourage you to kind of go through it if you wish. But what kind of we will do is we will learn by doing. So whatever components, whatever things that is actually needed in our application. So let's say I need a button. So I'll read about the button at that time, understand how button works, and kind of what are the functionalities that is important for me. So we will learn only what's needed. And let's say if someone is much more interested, so kind of I'll be showing resources from where you can reference these things and learn it. So that's kind of brief. This page is really, really important. You can find a lot of things here. So just go completely through it, and kind of if you have any doubts or anything, you can ask. So that's it about JavaFX, folks. If you kind of wanted to learn more and also, you can go through the below links as well. This is kind of this is Oracle official documentation, so you can go here as well and see what they have to say. So what is JavaFX? A set of graphics and media packages that enable to design, create, test, debug, and deploy rich client applications. Right, so JavaFX applications, availability, what are its key features, so a lot of things. So if someone is, what can I build with JavaFX? So this is like kind of things that you people can build. So if someone is kind of much more interested, this is kind of exhausted documents from the creators, right? So you can go through it and kind of try to go as deep as you want. But for this application, if you are kind of going forward, build your career as a backend developer, so just read or understand only what's needed for our project, and rest things you can leave. I don't think there is any need. But yeah, I showed you the first link, that is kind of Java T point, very important, and this is official documentation. Okay, so this is it on JavaFX. I have shown you resources, you can go ahead and learn about it. Now let's do the kind of most important part. Let's go ahead and create the application. So obviously on IDE front, like I will be using IntelliJ. So you must have been informed already. So I'll be using IntelliJ. So I'll open my IntelliJ and kind of I'll start things. So let it open and then we will start. So this is IntelliJ. You must have seen the version. If you haven't, then go pause the video, go back and see. And now I will create a new application. So file, new, and project. So this is kind of basic project. We are going to build a new project. File, new, and project. Pretty simple steps. Okay. Yeah. So I got the prompt, file, new project. Here on the left side, you can see a lot of options. New project, empty project, Maven archetype, JavaFX, Kotlin, and a lot. Choose JavaFX here. Choose JavaFX. Now give a name. So let me give snake, ladder, and kind of say it's fab. So fab, snake ladder fab. I give the name. This is location, wherever you want to put, that's up to you. And the important thing is let the language be Java and build system as Maven. You might be asking like what's a build system. So don't worry, it will be taught to you in your later classes. If you are much interested, go ahead and kind of read about it. So I have given the name snake ladder feb, and kind of this is important. This is Java version 19. So make sure that all of you has this version only. It may happen that if you have selected some another different version, you may get some errors. I'm not saying that you will definitely get errors, but you may get some errors because of version, and I don't want you people to kind of stuck in those things. So better you keep everything as it is. The name, of course, it's of your choice. Now I'll go to the next. Here you will see a lot of options. Here you can clearly see there are a lot of options. Don't select any. Don't select any. Just go ahead and click on create. You may get this prompt. Pause the video and read it for a while. I'll open it in this window itself. Okay, so now kind of I have created a new application from scratch, and obviously now we can see some auto-generated code. So as per our agenda, the part of creating an application is done. Kind of I'll repeat the steps again. File, new, and then file, new, project, and then the names and everything, next, and then kind of create. That's it. So your project will be created. Our project is created now and everything is in shape. Now obviously you can see a lot of methods here, some classes and everything got generated for you. Now we will go ahead and kind of the third agenda of our video is like auto-generated code. So now we will go ahead and kind of try to understand the auto-generated code. Like what is this piece of code, what are its parts, and how kind of it's helping us, right? Okay, so now let's discuss about this auto-generated code. So as you can see that there is application class, and here there is a start method which is overridden, and then you can easily see main. So as from our previous knowledge, we know that execution of any program starts from main. So let's see. So what I'll do is I'll kind of go and try to find and search these things just like a beginner. So let me go to my browser, and then I'll paste application class in JavaFX, and then I'll search. So this is the first link, Oracle Docs, official documentation, always great if you can read and understand it. And then this tutorial points link, this is also really awesome. So I'll highly encourage you people to go through these documents properly as to understand things in a bit detailed. Right, and then here things are explained pretty well in a graphical manner. So JavaFX application structure. Java application will have three major components: stage, scene, and nodes. So you can see stage, scene, nodes. Stage has been described, scene has been described, and graph scene scene graph and nodes has been described, and then you can like how to create class and everything, those things are given. So kind of let's start reading from like what is what. So as of now we wanted to understand application. So you can see application class from which JavaFX application extends. So it's like, so it's kind of a base class, and entry point of JavaFX application is the application class. This is really important. And JavaFX runtime does the following in order. So it's like for JavaFX application, the entry point is application class. So things, any Java application, it will start from this application class. And then it's like whenever an application is launched, so kind of these things will happen, like construct an instance of the specified application class, call init, call start, wait for application to finish, perform exit, and call stop method. So this is the flow. So now we understand at least about application, like it's the entry point for JavaFX application is the application class. And now let's go to our auto-generated code and see what other things are there. So here you can kind of clearly see that another thing which we have is kind of the execution will start from main. So here we have a launch method, and then we have start, we have kind of stage, and we have scene. So kind of let's try to understand these two methods first, the launch and the start, and then we will kind of understand about stage and kind of scene. So let me see if the launch method is given here somewhere, Control FV. Yeah, so we have for launch, we have 22 matches. Let's go ahead and see. Threading launch application.launch. So you can see Java launcher loads initialize the specified application thread if no main method in the application, or if the main method application calls application.launch, then instance of application is then constructed on JavaFX application thread. So it's like kind of this method will be called from main. This is an example. Let's see where all. Yeah, so launch is like extend application class, and launch like string arguments, a standalone applications, launch a standalone application. So it's kind of this the method that will be called from main. So yeah, here I can see the two launch methods, so you can read the detail. So launch a standalone application, this method is typically called from main method, and it must not be called more than once or an exception will be thrown. This is equivalent to launch the class.args, where the class is immediately enclosing class of the method which called launch. It must be subclass of application, or a runtime exception will be thrown, right? So the method does not return until application has exited. So it's like launch will be called from main. You can call it only one time, and kind of it is actually which starts the application. So that's if you kind of try to trace the flow, the execution will start from main, and then finally main will call the launch, which will kind of create our application, the JavaFX thing. Now let's go and try to understand about start. So here we should be able to find start as well. Yeah. So start, stage, primary, stage. So the main entry point of all JavaFX application, the start method is called after init method has returned, and after the system is ready for application to be running. So this is important, like start is kind of when your application starts running, launch has happened, init, all the initialization is happened, and finally your application will start running. This method is called on JavaFX application thread. Okay, then there are stop and other things as well. So this should be good enough, or read the details. If you don't understand anything, kind of go and deep dive into it. Now let's see how the structure and everything looks like. So here in the code, you can see there is a stage and there is a scene. So we'll try to understand these two things now. So it's like there are three major components: stage, scene, and nodes. So what is stage, what is scene? So stage is a window, kind of it contains all the objects. So stage, what is stage? A window, normal window, that's it. And it contains everything that is in FX application. So kind of you can say the base container, the starting which will UI component which will hold everything. Stage is created by platform, or you can call platform or OS that creates the stage. State object is passed as an argument to the start method. Fine. Explained in next section. Start method has been, stage has two parameters, width, height you can set, and then there are different types of stages as well, so you can read about it. That's good to have. And yes, now it comes, scene represent physical content. So whatever physical things, means whatever actual things that we will see as a part of our UI, those are kind of comes in scene. Means in a stage a blank container is created and then we put some scene graphics and everything. So JavaFX scene represent the scene object is added only one stage. Fine, it can be added. Then create a scene by instantiating these things and with root node to its constructor. So you can read the details. Scene is like a tree-like data structure hierarchical representing contents of a scene. So whatever things now we will put, you will understand later like how things are represented. So that will be put inside the scene. A node, and what is node kind of? So if you see the diagram here, so these things will be created and everything inside. So whatever the children of scene, we will be creating and putting all our controls there as and when required. So this is about scene. Yeah, maybe you can read more, root node, branch, parent, a lot of things, how creating application, right? Start, in this method we will write code for JavaFX application. Abstract method start, you can in the main method you have launch the application using launch method, and this method, the launch method, internally calls the start method. This is really important. So launch is called and launch internally calls the start to kind of build things and run the application. So within start method is a typical, you need to create scene graph and everything. So kind of from start you will start creating things on your own, then preparing scene and graph. So you can do it in a lot of ways. I'm not going into that. So what's important is we know that application class is the starting point and then any application starts from main. So here our launch method of application class will start our application. This method will internally call the start method, and in start method we will create some UI. The stage is passed, we will create a scene and then kind of pass this scene as a kind of as a child to stage, which will kind of display the scene. And yeah, we can set title and everything. So kind of let me run the application and let's see what we have from this auto-generated piece of code. So I have kind of run the application and the build is about to finish. And we should be, yeah. So this is the UI which we are seeing. Hello is written and here also hello is written. So let's kind of figure out where this hello is coming from. So if you see stage.set title, this is where the hello is coming from. So let me kind of make it like hello Angad and then run it. Then the title, this should change to hello Angad instead of just hello. Let's see if it is working. Yeah, hello Angad. And from where this button is coming, let's try to figure that out. So we have a hello view.fxml and here you can kind of see button text hello. So this in fxml file, this button has been created, and if you change the text here and it's like on home button click, so on whenever you click that button, this method will be called. Fine. So this is all about the auto-generated code. And then now we will go ahead and kind of modify the code a bit to suit our requirements. And as soon as it's done, then we can move to the next steps. So let me go back to my this OneNote. So we have kind of, I told you a bit about JavaFX, kind of we have done a created the application as well, and I have explained you auto-generated code as well and kind of given you links like these pages, the Oracle official documentation and this tutorial points. So these are really good. You can go through it to understand things well, and in case you have some doubts and all, you can ask me always. So this is it. Now we have kind of understood the auto-generated code as well. Let's move ahead and kind of change a few things, basic things. But before that, let me tell you a few things. So there are multiple ways to create UI. There are multiple ways to create UI in JavaFX. One method is a scene builder method. So in scene builder method, with some GUI tools, we kind of create our scene. Then you can clearly see here that this is kind of an HTML syntax. So this is also one method. So you can kind of HTML like syntax, HTML like syntax. So you can create, and then another method is like code. So in this, you will kind of write code here itself in this part. You will create buttons and everything here, and then kind of move ahead. So for this tutorial, we will be moving with code method. So we will prefer code method. We will code all our controls, buttons, and everything that's needed. And obviously, if you wanted to try these two things out, obviously, all the best. You can create the UI in those manner, and then kind of use the backend of whatever that is taught. So it's all up to you, but we will be using code, and kind of let me do some basic changes to start it just. So what I will do is, first of all, I will disconnect this HTML kind. So I'll kind of delete this line. I have deleted that fxml line, and kind of inside scene, I have deleted this as well. I have deleted this. Now what I'll do is I'll create our own method. So private void, private pane. What is pane and all we'll understand. Private pane, create content. So kind of we will create the whatever contents that is we want in the UI. So create content. In that I'll create pane. So pane root equal to new pane, and then I'll simply return it. Return root, and I will call this method. What I'll do is I'll pass sizes to this. So I'll remove sizes from here as well. So yeah. So I have called this. That's it. Very small change, but very important. So, and now whatever things that will happen, we will kind of bind all our UI controls from here. From this will be the kind of starting point for us for application. This is the starting point, and we have called our created this method here. So kind of let me rerun it and see whatever we are having. So it is run, and I have kind of got a blank canvas. Now let's go ahead and kind of understand. Let me delete unnecessary things. So what I'll do is I'll remove this one I don't need, and then I'll remove this hello controller. So do a right click and then delete. Delete anyway, no problem. So I have deleted that. Now we have our hello application only, and this is kind of our hello. Let me rerun it. So this is our hello application. Now I will go ahead and kind of explain you what is pane. So as I have already told initially, we will be doing things, we will learn JavaFX things by doing. So we have used pane, and I think if you have observed, it was red earlier. So why it was because of imports. So you can clearly see if you are getting some red and the class is not imported, this is the import line. Very important, javafx.scene.layout.pane. So this is kind of important thing. Now let's go ahead and learn a bit about pane. So I'll go ahead, create a new tab and type JavaFX and pane. Let's see what Google has to say. So this is let's read it. JavaFX pane class is a layout container which can contain other JavaFX components internally and lay them out. So it's like kind of a blank canvas where you can kind of put another controls. JavaFX pane class do not actually provide any layout algorithm. So it doesn't have, it simply displays components. So whatever components you will put, it will display. this is also kind of you can read from this documentation, you can read from Geeks for Geeks, you can read from Tutorial Point, anything. Base class for layout panes, which needs exposure of its children as public so that a user can of subclass can freely add and remove children. So it's like it's base class for all the layout containers. So it's a pane, and you can consider this as a blank canvas, and you can use whatever things or whatever controls you want here, like a button or another pane or anything. Okay. You can read more. So resizable range, there are width, what is preferred, what is maximum. Okay, and then height, these are things. So you can kind of go set perf size. So these are things that we'll be using. So go through this document. Let's say when we use this one, so come on, go refer this document and try to understand what it means. So pretty good one. Just go and whatever things you don't understand, kind of Google like that and learn it. So this is pane. Okay, and yeah, that should be good enough. Let's go ahead and develop the user interface of our application, of our game, the Snake and Ladder. So in the requirements part, we have kind of understood like we need board, game, coin, buttons, and some display area. So first of all, let's go ahead and try to develop this board. So a board like this, so that we can move our coins and everything. So the important feature, if you have seen any stack and ladder board, is like kind of the spaces, the kind of these boxes are kind of uniformly distributed, and we need that uniform distribution so that we can move our dice in the coordinates of our screen, right? So kind of let's go ahead and try to create that board. So first of all, what I will do is I will create a grid. I will create a grid-like structure, something maybe like this structure, which is kind of which will have grids 10 cross 10, and then kind of we will try to make sure that it has snakes and ladders somehow, and then so that we can move easily among the grid. So for that, what I'll do is we will bifurcate our area into kind of small tiles. So let's go ahead and create a few tiles like that. So what I'll do is, first of all, I need to decide the width and height so that I can keep my program generic. So I'll take some variables. So private, static, or instead of private, let me keep it as public, static, final. Tile size. So it's like when I say tile size, what I mean is this one block, this like the size where one is there, the two is there, size of each block. So tile size, let's give it as 40, and then let's take width or static int, obviously. Tile size, then width, let's take it as 10, and height, let's take it as 10 as well, because we need a grid of size 100, so 10 into 10. Okay, so this is the tile size, the width, and the height. These are three variables which we have defined, and kind of we will use them extensively. So you can see this is our initial pane, and this is kind of how we are seeing it. So come on, first of all let's go and change some names so that things make much more sense. I don't know how many of you know about refactor, but if you don't know, pay close attention to it. So I'll double click, I'll select this whole hello application. You can do it by double clicking, and then I'll do a right click, and then you can see refactor option here, and then I can go and do a rename, and I'll type snake ladder. So all instances of this identifier, this class name will be changed. You see the file name also get changed. So if you didn't understood it, rewind the video and watch it again and do it. This is kind of really helpful trick feature of this ID. Oh, done with that. So now the snake and ladder, let's give the name as snake and ladder as well, the name which we are seeing. So snake and ladder. Now let me kind of run the application and things should be visible. Okay, we got it. The size is some default size. Let's see how we change it and how things move. So this is the default size. Let me kind of give the size of pane. So root dot set perf set preferred size. So I'll give width into tile size and height as height into tile size, plus let's give kind of, let's say 50 pixels. That should be good enough so that we can place buttons and all. So this is the size. Now after resizing, then the set perf size, this is kind of an important method and it is used. So this is how our snake and ladder looks now. Let's kind of go ahead, and if you wanted to read, we can read about it. So I'll do a Google JavaFX pane set perf size. Let's see. Oh, I don't know what it will give. Let's see. Let me find it. So set perf size 2, and I don't know. Okay, this is 1, this is 2. So a pane's unbounded maximum width and height are indication to the parent that it may be resized beyond preferred size to fill whatever space assigned. It provides setting size range directly. So these are kind of use computer size. However, applications set them to other values, so we can set the size, preferred size, what we want. So this is how we can do it, and application may restore computer values by setting these properties back to this. And pane does not clip its contents by default, so it's possible that children bounds may extend outside its own bounds, either if children are positioned as negative coordinates or pane is resized then its preferred size. Okay, so kind of this is simply understand that this is a method with which you can define the size, and if like you create things bigger or okay, this is kind of a very important thing. So if you kind of create bigger or smaller, it will go according to that. Bigger, at least it will go according to that. So so pane's parent will resize pane with resizable. By default, pane compute this outlined in the table below. So width and height can be of 3 types. This minimum, so left plus right inserts. Bottom. Okay, so I think the distance that is between left and right, and this is height is like top and bottom, so kind of the minimum thing, and this is like maximum possible, and this is like required to encompass each child at location with preferred width. So by reading here, I think it doesn't make any sense, much of a sense what they are, but don't worry. Let's, once we will play with the values, you can understand. So the best thing is kind of change these values and then you can understand it. Okay, so this part is done. Now let me kind of go ahead and create that grid which I was talking about here, this grid kind of structure. So how we'll do it, I'll create a new class. So here, I don't know if you're not able to see this project explorer and all, here is the project explorer, that's how you can see. And let's say if I am in this class and I click here, then it opens me the directory. So I'll go here and create new Java class, and then I'll kind of name it as tile. That should be good enough. And I will extend, means I'll what should I say, inherit from rectangle class. So extend rectangle. So you can RECTAN, yeah, rectangle. So if you wanted to kind of read about this rectangle class, we can easily do that. So here JavaFX rectangle, maybe here tutorial points should work, or even Java T point, and official docs are always kind of best. So in general, rectangle is four bound. It has two pairs, I think, height and width. In JavaFX, rectangle is represented. It has so different things about rectangle. Maybe how you can draw. So this is how you can go and draw a rectangle. So anything you want to understand better, you can go through this whole document. Maybe let me see if something simpler is given here, with which we can understand better. So in general, rectangles, JavaFX allow developers to create rectangle by, yeah. So it's like the library helps you create rectangle shape with this class. That's it. How these are methods, you can read about it, and this is how you can create one. So that should be good enough. A rounded corner rectangle, that is also there. So you can try that as well. See. So this is pretty good. You can try this out. And now let me go ahead and do things. So tile extends rectangle, and here we will do is like we will create a kind of a new tile to see how things work. Cool. Okay folks, so let's go ahead and kind of create our tile class. So the class I have already created, and let's move ahead and kind of create an actual tile. So the class is already extending. So what all I need to do is I need to kind of create constructor and provide the properties. So tile, and then int tile size. So I'll give the relevant values. So here width, height, width, set width, so we'll give a style size, and then the next will be set height. Should also be tile size. Then let's give it a color. So set color or set fill is the kind of, you can fill the color which you want. So here color dot, I think a lot of options. So let's go with Azure. I don't know what it means, but anyway, this color is, so I'm not sure about it. Then let's give it a border as well. So here set stroke, and then color dot black. Yeah, so this should be good enough, and we have kind of created a tile. Now let's go ahead and kind of add this tile to our this object and see how things are looking. So I've created a tile. Now I'll go back in my snake and ladder class, and then kind of I'll create a tile here. So maybe I should kind of tile. Tile equal to new tile, and then I can give as style size simply. This should be good enough. And kind of how I'll add. So we have a good method. We have a method provided by this pane class. So root dot get children. So everything, whatever we'll put in this pane will be added as its children. So get children dot add. There is add, and then there is add all. So we'll use add all so that we can add all our content components. And here I think yeah, I'll give is add all, and I'll give it style here. Okay, so this is good enough. Now let me rerun the application. Yeah, you can see the Azure color and the tile is here. Now I don't need only one tile. I need kind of 100 tiles and spread across this grid. Means spread like a grid, so just like this. So for that, let's go ahead and kind of, you must have solved DSA question. This is like that. So the only thing you need to know is like how you can place the style appropriately. So that's a very important thing. So for that we have some very important methods, and the method goes like this. So let's say if I wanted to set this tile to some given position, so you must be knowing xy coordinates. So here the methods are tile dot set x, set translate x. So translation on x, let me give it as 30, and then we have tile dot set translate y. So these are very important methods and we'll be using them very frequently. So kind of I did this, and let's see. Yeah, so now kind of let me explain you what the x and y are in our screen. So I think all of you must be kind of aware of our normal xy coordinate system. All right, so let me kind of explain that. So we have something like this. We have x-axis and we have y-axis. Or this is something 4 comma 5 if we say. So 4 on x and 5 on y. That's how. But if we look at our screen, in our screen the things works like this. So this is origin, this is x, and this is y. So this corner, the top left corner, means here where 85 is written currently. Maybe I should, yeah, now the 85 where it is written, the top left corner of our screen, that's x as origin. And so this is kind of our top left corner. And then x grows in whenever you go to the right. And so this is kind of right. And y grows whenever you go to the bottom. So this is bottom. And finally this point, the bottom right corner, that is kind of the end. Okay, so here we can assume like when I say 20 into 30, so after 20 and 30 and 40, so this is where it has put the. Okay, so I hope all of you understand this. And translate means like the component is created, just place it where you want. So this is how now it looks. So x-axis, I think what was the values, I forgot. So 30 on x, so 30 away from this line, 30 on the right, and 40 on the down. Okay, so kind of now let's try to, we need 100 tiles. So let's kind of write a loop in such a way that we can kind of create 100 tiles, translate them appropriately, and put them. So let's say how we can do it. So the first tile which we create, let's say we start putting, so this will be the first, and then we can move and place the second, then third, then fourth, and then 10 here, then again 11, 12, like this. So kind of let's go ahead and write some loop, obviously DSA logic. So I'll write for I don't know how many of you know this shortcut. If you write for I and press tab in IntelliJ, you'll get construct like this. So maybe I'll kind of do with height, and then again I'll write for I, and then this time width. So first of all I'll create the width, and then I'll go for the height. So obviously I need to create new tile every time. So this is how I'll select. So I'll kind of cut this code and paste it here and kind of write some logic appropriately. Instead of add all, kind of I'll write add method as well, because in each iteration we'll be adding only one time. So now how this part is clear. We just need to make sure that these translation work perfectly. So how we can do that, that's important. So let's say how in the, when I and j both will be 0, I want it 0. When j is 1, I want it to be 40 coordinates on the right. So I can clearly say like j into width is what you want it to go on x, and in terms of height I can say I into height. And now let's see if our logic is correct or not. Let's run this thing and see if it is working or not. So we may, with this logic, we should get a grid. Yeah, it is kind of looking good. Not exactly what we wanted, but yeah, something like that. Let's see what is the mistake that we have made. So when I say j into width, so width is 10 pixels. So no, we didn't want j into width, we want j into tile size, right? So 40 pixels, not 10. So instead of width and tile, I'll put tile size here. That's a mistake. Tile size. Now let's see, now things should work perfectly. So you should be kind of, yeah, why so you understand. So first time with width and all it was 10, 20, 30. Now we have 40, then 40 into 0, then 40, then 120, 0, 40, 80, 120, and so on. And then so this is what kind we wanted, and we got it. Now we can place snakes, ladders, some beautiful colors on it, and then we can kind of go ahead and play our game. Cool, folks. So I think you must have understood till this point. You must have been able to create this. If you're not, go back, rewind the video, and kind of reach till this point. If you have any doubts, note it down and you can reach out to me for that. So this is kind of first and most important part, like we created a grid. And now the next thing is like how to bring snakes, ladders, and all those things here. So that is kind of the next important step. So what I will do is to bring that, I'll put an image here. I'll put an image here of same size and kind of with the same dimensions. So let me try doing that. So for image, we have an image control here. So image, and then img equal to new image. So earlier it was red, we must have import for image. We have import for image and it should work fine. And so I wanted to kind of load an image, and now for that I need an image. So what I'll do is kind of I'll go ahead and bring an image. So where should I let me kind of take this image only. This is a kind of good image. So let me see if I copied it back to the application. Let me kind of paste it in main. That should be good enough, and then paste. Yeah, we have img.png in main, and now I need its path. So I'll do a right click and copy path reference. Absolute path, I copied it, and then I'll paste it here in double quotes. Yeah, see users, the whole path is there, and yeah. So I have now kind of loaded an image. So let's say you don't understand everything, so kind of you can go and read about image class. You can kind of do a Google like how to display image in JavaFX, and then you can understand this in a better way. But that's how you will do it. Now we have loaded an image. Now we need to kind of display the image on the UI. So we wanted to display the image here on this UI. So for that we have an image view control. Image view, let's say board equal to new image view, and then we can do board dot set image. So I'm setting the image as what is the image? img. So I have, and kind of all I need to, so I loaded an image from my computer, and then I kind of created the image view control to view that image, and I have set that image. Now I think board dot size set image, yeah, set fit width, set fit height. So we can kind of set fit height. We can give like height into tile size, and then dot set fit width, that we can give like width into tile size. This should be good enough, and then let's view this image. So for viewing we will add it to the root. So root dot get children dot add, and then I'll add the image view. So board, let's see what we are getting now. This is very important part of code. I created an image and then an image view, and whoa, amazing now. Some of you might ask, like, with this we can have done it easily. Why we created tiles and all? Don't worry. Why we created tiles is like we need to move our dice. So without having a grid, without having idea of coordinates, it will be difficult for us to move our coins. Okay. So this is means kind of, if you see from our UI requirements, where we have written our requirements, our board is available now. Yeah, we have our board, snake and ladder, looking perfectly fine. The snakes, ladders. Here I have used this image. You can use any image. Let's suppose you wrote the same code and still you are not able to view the image. There might be some issue with your image. It might be corrected. So try with some different image and things should work. If not, then obviously you can reach out to me for doubts. I will help you out. So this is kind of one step we have. Now we are ready with our board. At least the UI part of the board. Definitely, like how we will handle this numbers, snakes, ladders, that's a completely different story. But we are done with the board. Congrats, you are a step ahead, and let's kind of stop here. And I request all of you to complete till this point, and then maybe after completing till this, we can kind of go ahead and create more UI components, more logical components. So remember, these are the things that we need to create, kind of the UI. So we are done with the board, and for the backend logic we need these things. So let's go ahead. The whole user interface, or the board, the buttons, the displays, everything is fine. And now let's go ahead and kind of try to code the backend. So when I say backend, what are things that comes to your mind? So think about, pause the video, think about it for a while, and then you can resume the video. So when I say backend, there are two things. So when I say backend, there are two things. So one thing is obviously a player, and the another thing is board. So what the board is. So you can clearly see this UI, and from here you can understand, like, board, there are different numbers on the board, and there are snakes and ladders, and obviously if we put a coin here, it needs to move properly and it will move through the board. So guys, there is one very important thing, is like how we will move our coins, how we are going to move our coins. Because let's say this is our this is the game, and let me kind of create a small, yeah. So this is, let's say this is a coin, and I put it here. Yeah, so I put it here and I want to move it. So then I'll move to this position, then I'll move to this position. Let's say I got 5, so I'll move to this position. Let's say I got another 5, so I'll move to this position. Then there is a ladder, then I'll climb, control Z. So then I have a ladder, I can easily climb, and I can go to the 46, then again 50, and so on. So how I will move this? So this is a big question, and I think if you have kind of paid attention, you know this answer, like how we can move it in the same way which we have placed these controls. That's it. Translation. Set translate, we have translated buttons, we have translated the labels, we have also translated this tiles. So in the same manner we will translate our coins as well. So let's say if it is at here, so then I'll go ahead and again translate it to, let's say, this position, so on and so forth. So that is very important. And for translation, what we need is, you can see here, so I have used some numbers, x and y. So I have already explained these things to you here in the coordinate system, right? So top left 0 0 and grows in the right direction and y goes in the grows in bottom direction. And as you know that the tile size, the size of our each tile is 40 here. The size of our each tile is 40. So because our tile size is 40, we know that if we go in the right direction, so 40 into 10, there are, I think, 400 different like pixels. So let's assume it's pixels. So let's say I wanted to kind of put this circle here somewhere. Let's say I wanted to put it on 100. So what are the coordinates that I should put so that to make sure that it coincides properly, it stays in the box very well? So the one thing clear is like we need to kind of put it to the middle. The circle center should coincide with the center. So here, and what are the coordinates of this point? So what are coordinates of this point? This is really important. So let's say this is 100 and the box goes. So what are the coordinates of this middle point? So as you can see, this tile is of size 40 and it has consumed till this space. So then this must be 20. So this point is 20 on X and 20 on Y. Similarly, for 99, this center point is again 20 on X. It is now 20 plus 40, that is 60 on X, and again 20 on Y. So for 98 now, I think 60 plus 40, 100 on X, 100 comma 20. So I think now you can easily calculate and understand how our points will grow. So the X will remain, for this X will remain 20. No, Y will remain, sorry. Y will remain for this height 20 and then X will grow. So 20, 40 plus 40, 60 plus 40, 100 plus 140, 140 and so on and so forth. Till this point it will be here, it will be like on 91. So this will be 380. So X will grow in the right direction. Similarly, Y will grow. So then for center of here, the Y will become 60. Then again 100. And going on here, it will become again 380. So that's how the coordinates will be. And we will map each number on board. Oh, okay. On each number on board to some coordinates, and how those coordinates are calculated, I think if you people must have understood. If you haven't, go back and watch the video where I have explained this coordinate things, and then kind of rewind it again here, and then you should be able to understand. So that's how things will be. So why we are creating the board is like, on the board we will map these numbers to a coordinate. So there are two ways you can kind of create a grid, and a grid, when I say it's 2D array, and then map all the positions. Also you can take a 1D array and then kind of map all the numbers to its coordinates. So that's what I am going to do. I'll take a 1D array and map my coordinates. Okay, so let's go ahead and kind of do that. And kind of let's build some logic so that we can easily kind of generate the numbers. So for that, let's go ahead, let's do one thing. Kind of let me take a copy of this and let's at least write numbers so that we have some idea. Yeah. So let me increase its size, and here. So as I have already told you, let's write numbers for, I think here on top. Let me increase the size a bit more. Yeah. So for 100 on x, so x is fixed, y is fixed here, y equal to 20, that is fixed. This will be our y line, right? This will be our y line, and it is fixed. So this is 20, and the x will change. This is our x. Again, this is here our x. This is again our x. This is kind of again our x. This is again our x. This is again our x. So let me write that. So this is 20, then again 40. This is 20 till here, and then again 20 till here. Let me kind of use 20 till here, and then again 20 till here, so it's 40. So 20 plus 40, 60. Again 40, 100. Again 40, 140. And then 140 plus 40, 180. 180 plus again 40, it's 220. Then again 40, so 220 plus 40, that is 260. Then again 40, so it will become 300. And here this will be kind of 3840, and this will be finally 380. So this is how our x will change, and these values will remain same for here as well. So kind of let's say any line. So let's say if I just zoom out a little, and let's say for these set of, this is 95, right? So if I kind of try to figure out for these all set of things, so this is going to be same. This will remain 220 till this. So this is, what is 220? So this will be 220 on x, and here obviously it will be what should I say, 380, and here it will as usual remain 20. So this is how x will look like. And if I go on for y, again the values will kind of, this is 20, then in same way this will be 40, and I'm not going to write everything now. You people can understand, this is in the same way going to be kind of 100, and you add 40, and finally here you will reach 380. So that's how things look like. Now let's go ahead, and I think with the ways I told you, you can easily calculate like position of each coordinate. Now let me go ahead, kind of write some loops, because our width and height is 10, 10. So write some loop, write some logic to kind of map these coordinates to the numbers. Okay, so for that I'll go ahead and now I'll create a new class. So here I'll go right click, new in Java class, and I'll name it as board. Yeah. So I have a new class now. And what are things that I need to do? I need, first of all, I need a array. And in array, what is that we need? So we need numbers. On the indices, we will store, let's say, two coordinates, x and y. So array list, then there should be some pair. So in the pair, we need integer, and then again integer. You understand pair, x and y. And so this is how we need, and you can create custom class as well, but here we have a pair, so no need to worry about that. And I should say position coordinates. So remember, the indices of the array we'll use them as numbers, and obviously on each index we'll put what is their x and y coordinates. So we'll definitely skip 0. Remember this in mind. Okay, so this is, I have created an array. Now let me kind of create a constructor for board. So board public board, and here kind of let me initialize the object. So position coordinates equal to new array list. Yeah, that's it. This is done. So kind of 1D arrays there. Now we need numbers till 100, starting from obviously the 0, the indices. So it will go till 100, and let's do that. And I need to kind of put the values, like what are the values for each coordinates and everything. So let me go ahead and write another method. So private void populate position coordinates. So this is the method I wrote, and in this method I will write some logic. I write some logic to make sure that I have kind of, I'm populating this array properly. So kind of, first of all, the very important thing is like, or you will miss, so we need coordinates from 1. So for 0th index I need to put some dummy values. So what I'll do is I'll put them position coordinates dot add, and I can say make new pair, and let me give some values as I think 0 comma 0. That's it. So this is what I'm giving, some any dummy value. Now we need to write a loop in such a way that we can fill the logic that I explained here. We can generate. So kind of, let's go ahead, use height and width to kind of write these loops. So I'll kind of let's take the height first for I. I don't know whether you are aware of this shortcut or not, but this is really a cool feature. So if I write for I, that's it, and then I put a tab. So you can see create iteration loop, and I press a tab, then I get this loop auto generated. So for I equal to 0, then let's say snake ladder dot height and I plus plus, and then again for I. So see, here it will give another variable. So I can say like snake ladder dot width, and yeah, it looks cool. Now we kind of need to put a proper logic so that we generate our coordinates properly. Fine. So we need to generate x coordinates, and then we need to generate y coordinates. So for, let's kind of do it for y coordinates first. So how things will look for y coordinates is like let's say for y we are kind of, our values are 0 0. So how things will go for y? So for y we can simply say like int y chord equal to how can I get 380? So we can simply kind of do is like width, tile size snake ladder dot tile size into height. We have reached till end, and now we kind of wanted to decrease obviously the y values. As soon as we move up on the numbers, the y values will decrease. So here I'll put snake ladder dot height, and from this we need to subtract something. So what all we need to subtract? So let's subtract, let's say I is our height, so I star snake ladder dot tile size. So I'll decrease the tile size each time my, and obviously there's one more thing that I need to do just to make sure that things are in place. So I need to decrease 20 as well. I think tile size snake ladder dot tile size by 2. So why all that? So snake ladder dot tile size, this will be 400. Whenever I will be 0, so this value will be 0. So I decreased 0, nothing happened, it's still 400. So at one position, at position of 1, what is it that I need? At first position, I need 20. On y coordinates, at one position, I need 380. So 380 is, if you see, it's height into tile size minus half of tile size, right? So that's what I did. And then these values will kind of keep decrementing and will be added. So kind of let's go ahead, add this thing and see how it is working. So for that, what I'll do is I'll kind of simply do add tile size position coordinates dot add new pair, and here I'll keep first value as x. So for that I'm adding 0 only, and for y I'm adding y coord. So I have kind of created my y coordinates. Now let's go ahead and test it, so as we are 100% sure that we are doing things correctly. So I'll write a main method. I don't know whether you are aware of this shortcut or not, but this is really cool. So you just need to type psvm, main method declaration, and hit enter. You got a main. So why I'm writing a main here? So just to make sure that I test this function properly and don't get any errors. So what I'll do is I will kind of simply write, I'll create an object of this board class. So board equal to new board, and then all I need to do is I need to print this position coordinates array. So for I is position, I need to take a board dot position coordinates dot size or dot length. Or size. Okay, let's see. So board dot position coordinates dot size, I have the size, and now I need to print things. So s out, you must be knowing s out is system.out.println. So I'll just use some string concatenation. So first of all, I'll print I and kind of then give a colon, or I'll give a $sign, and then I'll print x. After a space, I'll print x colon, and then I need to print x value. So here I can add it as board dot position coordinate dot, what should I say, get key dot get, or is it a private member or something? Let me kind of make it public. Okay, dot get. Okay, dot get and ith value I want, and post that get key. Get key. So key is x. Here I needed to add a plus sign, so x is this, and kind of I'll go ahead and add another. So how the y will look like? So again I need to kind of add some space, and then y, and again a colon, and then I kind of need to board dot get position coordinates dot get, and then then dot get value. So here we have, on the place of value, we have put our y coordinates. So x everything will come 0, but we will have our y values. So come on, let's go ahead and kind of run this code, see if things are fine or not. Okay. Process. Okay. Yeah, there's an issue. We got nothing. Why we got nothing? We got nothing because this method is never used. So I need to call this method in the constructor. Yeah. So I have now called this method in the constructor. Now while creating the class, new array will be created, and post that values will be put into that array. So let's see. Okay, now we see a lot of values. So let's go ahead, and for 1 till 10 it is 380, then it is coming back to 340, then 300, and let's see for top values like 199, it's 20. So y coordinates seems fine now, because this is what we were kind of expecting here. Like for 100, for this y is 20, and you can kind of clearly see that y is kind of 20 for all those values, and then it is 60 for the next line, and then it is 100 for the next line, and so on and so forth. So y is fixed, and our 0 is, we have put a 0, so that's it. So we have started, y is kind of. Now let's go on and see how we can compute x. So let's see, let's try to build some logic. So if you see here, if I wanted to calculate kind of x for till 10, it is pretty straightforward. Almost in the same manner, just like y is increasing with x is simply increasing. So here it's again 240, I think 60, and then we'll move ahead and so on. So if I go till the 10, our x is simply increasing. So you can simply say that x is increasing. But from 11 to 12, 13 and so on, our x is decreasing, right? So here if I say this is when the numbers are increasing, the x is decreasing. So for 12, the x is not kind of x will be, for here for 12 it will be like 340, and for 11 it will for 13 it will be like 300. But for so see, from we are going from 12 to 13, but our x coordinate is decreasing, right? So we kind of need to handle these cases separately. So first of all, so how we can handle these cases? So we can see, we can kind of use some like relations with kind of I, to make sure that we are filling our some relation with y coordinates. Just like if you see our I, which is kind of height. So it will go from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is 0, and this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. So if you see on 0, it will increase, and then 1 it will decrease, then again 2 it will increase, then at 3 again it will decrease. So on even numbers, you can see on even value of y, even value of y, or I should say I, x increases, and on odd value x decreases. So we can kind of use this to calculate. So let's go ahead and kind of add some logic for calculation of x as well. So let's say y chord int x chord equal to 0, and let's see if I modulus 2 equal to 0. So if our I is even, then x will normally increase. So when x will increase, so how we need to make it? So x chord equal to, obviously j is 0, so we kind of need to add j star tile size. Snake ladder dot tile size. So this value will come as 0, this value is come as 40, then on j equal to 2 it will be like 40 into 280, and then all we just need to do is snake ladder dot tile size by 2. So I think this should work perfectly for when I is even. And let's see how we can kind of relate if I is odd. So else. So let's say when I is odd, for this line, the value when j will be equal to 0. So on 11, when j will be equal to 0, so that will be 11. So the value will be kind of 380. So let's get a 380, and based on j, let's try to decrease it. So as soon as j will increase, we will try to decrease it. So x chord equal to, how we'll get 380? So let's get a 400 first, and then so I think this logic will work perfectly fine here. So this is 400, and then this is kind of, this makes it 380, and kind of this will go on and decrease more 40s. So I think we can simply copy it and then paste it here. So snake ladder dot tile size dot height minus, instead of I here we should have a j, and everything should look fine. So now kind of I hope you have understood this logic properly. If not, pause the video or even don't see it and try to build this logic by yourself, and then you'll be able to understand it. So now let me kind of add my x coordinate here as well. I have modified my method, x coordinate logic, y coordinate logic, and then putting it and then trying to printing it. So let's see if at least in our here we have written x coordinates for all till 91. Let's see if it is right or not. Okay. So from the for 100 it is 20. We can clearly see that's what we wanted. For 100 is 20. Then let's check for 95. I think for 99, 60, 20 plus 40 plus 40 plus 40 plus 40. For 95 it's 220. Perfect. 95 it's 220, and then for 91 it should be 380. So let me go up, and 91 380. Then for 90 it should be again 380, 90 again 380, and then it should kind of decrease. 340, 300. Okay, so if you see x is moving in a zigzag manner, decreasing, then again decreasing, then increasing, increasing. Yep, x is also looking perfect. So folks, I think you must have understood this part, like how our coordinates are changing and why. If you have any doubts in this, you can always reach out to me, but this is important and I highly encourage you people to go through this way, so that whenever you try to move your coins through translation, then you don't have to worry about this. So make sure that you are able to map the values exactly. Let's say I wanted to check for 5, so let's see. For 5, y will be 380, we know that, and x will be like 20, 60, 100, 140, and 180. So x should be 180 and it is 180. So that means wherever you will translate, things will work. So this is one part of board, folks. So I think I have done this method. So here we are kind of done with one part of the board, where we have kind of created a 1D array and related all the coordinates on the screen to its respective numbers. And then we must need to kind of create some mapping for snakes and ladders as well, but we'll do that later. We have learned a lot of things in this game. So kind of, if I say from beginning, so we have kind of defined the requirements, what we want, what are the things we need, how we mapped the game on the pen hard board to a gaming computer, and then we defined our all the requirements, and post that requirements we kind of moved ahead and learned about JavaFX application creation and understood the auto generated code. Then we go ahead, created a grid, and then kind of put a image on that grid to get this. So this is our result till now for all the code that we have written. And here obviously that's how an actual board looks like. So we can play the game here. And now let's move ahead and kind of do the things further. So first of all, it's like if you wanted to play a game on screen, so you need some buttons and all, so that you can kind of press them and do perform some action. So here kind of, let's see what all buttons can we add. So if I think of a two-player game, then obviously we need two buttons. So let's say here I am creating a button for player 1, and then this side I am creating a button for player 2. So this is done. Then obviously game start, restarting the game, we need that. So here also I'll create another button, and this will be more like game start game. This is P2 and this is P1. Also, whenever we roll the dice, we'll get some random number between 1 to 6. So here we will put a space like dice, and let's say whatever value we get. Also, the players will get different turns. Like if the player one has started, then he can't play the second turn. So they will get turns alternatively. So here we can display their turn as well, like something like uh, my turn or something, my turn, or P1 turn. And here also, based on whose turn is, also we can disable the button so that the other player can't press the buttons in the first place. So these are the now left part of the UI. So kind of, let's go ahead, write some code and finish this part as well. So I'll open my IntelliJ and do the things. So in our create content, we have already a root, and then we have kind of a loop to create the tiles, and here we have the image. Now let's go ahead and create, let's say, buttons. So for buttons thing, we have a button control in JavaFX. So button, let's say player 1 button equal to new button player 1. Yeah, that's it, as simple as this one. So this is a kind of player 1 button. Then I'll similarly write a button for player 2, button player 2 button equal to new button player 2. We have player 1, player 2, and then start button. So button start equal to new button start, or restart will change the status of the button as and when required. So this is done. Now let's kind of go ahead and read a little bit about button control in JavaFX, and that will be done. So button in JavaFX. So a lot of things here you can kind of go to the official documentation, Java T.Geeks for Geeks. Always good to go. So here you can see public class button base. So a simple button control. Button control can contain text or graphic. So the thing that will look on the button. Button control has 3 different modes: normal, default, cancel. So a push button. So you can read button is pressed and released, an action event is sent. So whenever a button is pressed and released, an action event is sent, right? So you can perform action. Your application can perform some action based on this event. So like there are a lot of things now you can go and kind of read more about it. But all those parts I leave it up to you folks. Also you can kind of read from here. Java T point is represented by a button is a component. Yeah, the good definition is good, that can control behavior of application. An event is generated whenever the button gets clicked. How to create button, the syntax, adding button to the scene graph, so how you'll add button and everything. So this is a button example. So you can kind of read how you can put images on the button, how you can do a lot of things. So yeah, see, image on the button. So that's how you can kind of, from here you can read and understand those things. So we have kind of created our buttons. Now let's go ahead and kind of add these buttons to our pane. So the buttons, what I want is I want buttons to be displayed somewhere here. So I have already explained this translation: set translate x, set translate y. So I'll create some variables here again: public, static, final, and I'll say button line, and I'll give, let's say, width, height, into, what should I say, height into tile size. So it will go just below the last tile, and plus let's give kind of 30 for text and everything. And then I think after that we can put it, or if there is something we can kind of adjust values. So let this be the button line, and let me kind of add the controls. So I'll translate all these buttons to the button line. So player 1 button dot set translate y, button line. If needed, we'll change it. Player 1 button dot set translate x, and on x kind of, let's say, translate 40. That should be good enough. Similarly I need for button 2 and button 3 as well. So button 2, and this is also button 2, and yeah, I have to change the x translation of button 2, and similarly I need for start button. And for, let's say, button, the whole space is like 40 into 10, so that is 400. So kind of for our button 2, let's give X translation of, let's say, kind of 340. Let's see where it goes. And then for this, let's give somewhere less than I think 50%. So 180 should be good enough. Let's see. Now I have done this. Now I need to add them. So I'll change this to add root.getChildren board. What is board? Oh, this was the image. So here add all. Then board and comma button. Oh, player one button, player two button, and then finally start button. So I have added all three controls on the main root panel. Now let me kind of see, this is our current situation. Let's see where it goes after the changes. So I have rebuilt the code and we should be able to see it soon. Okay. So it is almost at the end. So we kind of need to increase this size. So let me kind of go ahead and so instead of 50, let me do it as 100. So see the UI components and numbers, you can kind of try to fit in as and when required. Yeah, now it looks good. The player 2 button is like fire 2. So let's bring it a bit back. And also let's move player 1 a bit left. So how I can do that? Here the X coordinates. So let me, instead of give it as only 20, and for instead of 340, let's give only 300, and for this let's give 160 so that things look fine. Okay, yeah, now it looks good, almost like what we wanted. And let's say if somehow we wanted to move things a bit below or something, we can directly change the button line. So let's say I wanted to move a bit more below. So what I'll do is, instead of 30, I'll kind of write 50 and it will move below. Here, this button line. Okay, it's now more below. Now I wanted to kind of display some things here. So let me do that as well. So for that, I'll create some kind of text area, and here for their y translation, I'll create another variable. So let this be, I should say, display line. Or information line, info line, equal to height, or let's say info line is button line minus 30, or if needed we can change it, not a big deal. Now I'll create three labels and add it. So here I'll write display info display and label player or player one label equal to new label, and then here I can say my turn or your turn. You can put any text or anything or some UI, anything, that's up to you people. And then let me just copy this way. I think label is a new control we are adding, so I'll go ahead and explain. So player 1, similarly player 2, and then the last one should be like dice. So here I'll say dice and then 5, or here I will say start the game. Start the game. So this is it. Now we need their proper translation. So player one label dot set y, set translate y, and it should be display. What was the, I think, info line. So info line, and then player one label dot set x. I'll set same as buttons, so 20. Then do it for player. I'll copy it and paste it 3 times. You know, kind of using this copy paste effectively is a good skill. So player 2 label info line, and here I'll give what is that I give to player 2. So 300 here also I'll give 300. And this one is like dice level. So here I'll give what is it that I have given to dice level. So it is 160. So I'll give 160 here as well. Or yeah, 160. And this is again dice label. Yeah. Now kind of need to add these things. So here I'll add kind of player one label, comma player 2 label, comma dice label. I have added it, I translated it properly. Now let's see the UI. Okay, I think this should go a bit right side. So let me check. So player one label dot set translate x, and it's 20. Why? It's 3. So let me make it 40. I need to kind of dig a bit more deeper to understand. It's fine. Set translate x, y, x, y. Yeah. Okay. Somehow it seems like player 1 label, player 2 label, and dice label. Your turn. P1, player 1 label, your turn. P2. Now things should be more clear. Okay, somehow it's kind of sticking to this side. Oh, we'll see that later, not an issue. Okay, folks, so that's a brief. Like, this is kind of our UI, and it seems fine now. Now what we need to do is like we need to code the backend part. Let me just give one more shot trying to fix this. Okay, so your turn P2, your turn P1. Seems there's some issue, some miss. Your player 1 label. Oh, see here I'm kind of this is, I forgot to kind of rename. Now things should work perfectly. So the player 2 label was not translated in the first place. That's what was happening. So this is, yeah, this is the thing about copy and pasting. If you don't rename it properly, you'll miss it. So now things look fine. All the buttons are clickable as of now. You can kind of design this area in any way. You can increase the area on the left side and do these things. I have put it below. Anything works. Okay. So folks, this is all about the UI. Now label is a new component. So let me kind of go ahead and read a bit about it. So button label in JavaFX. Label is a non-editable text control. Label is useful for displaying text that is required to fit within specified space and thus may need to use ellipses, truncation size to string fit. Okay. So I hope you understand non-editable text. So, you can't edit this text. It is just for displaying. That's it. Okay, folks. So I think we have covered almost everything on the UI front. We started with auto-generated piece of code, then kind of added the tiles, then added this image, and finally added these buttons. If you want any more changes, look for it in the same way, like how if I say, you can kind of search, find, and add whatever controls you wanted based on the obviously requirements of the project. There's no point in kind of going overdoing. So understand the things, and yeah, so that's it about UI. Obviously, proper logic to control these buttons needs to be put in place. That is really important. Control these like displays, that is also needs to be put in place. But yeah, from creating UI and putting components, we are done here. And let me kind of give a brief walkthrough of the code. So see how we started. We started with this auto-generated code. Then we created this method. We have our root. Then we created tiles. Then we created an image. And right now we have just created buttons and information display. Labels, we have added everything here. And yeah, whoa, we are done. That's it. So this is how our UI is looking currently. And in the last video, we kind of completed our board logic. So we created an array of position coordinates, and then we populated all the position with exactly XY coordinates of center of those, what is in the center of UI, and I explained everything properly. And kind of we created our main method as well to test this out. So kind of our board is ready in a way. Now let's go ahead and kind of add players. So if I see our requirement things, so what are that we have done? So on user interface, we have completed the board. On we don't have coins yet. We have buttons yet. We have display info. So what we are left with is these coins. So we need coins. We'll put it. And remember, each coin will be kind of related to one player. And when I come to backend logic, so we have completed our board. This is snakes and ladder. This is not done yet. Dice is not done yet. And player is not done yet. So let's go ahead and kind of try to write backend logic for player. So I'll open my IDE, and here I'll go ahead and create another class. So file, new Java class, and I'll name it as player. My class is created. Now what are the things that I need in player class? So let's kind of try to understand. So we as we know that the coins will be related to players, so we need a coin. Definitely. What else do we need? We need the very important thing, what is the current position of the player? So position, this is very important. And apart from this, we can take kind of many things, like maybe we can take some ID, or we can take some name to kind of in the end announce who is the winner. So like coin, current position, these are kind of very important, and this will help us kind of assign who is the winner, or maybe simply we can kind of assign player 1 or player 2. So let's go ahead and create our player class and make sure that things are proper. So I'll open my ID, as I have already created a player class. Now let me add elements to it. So what all we need coin. So what type of coin is there? So if you have seen in the actual game, we have something like this. Yeah, so we have something like this, a coin, and then this is how the piece looks like, this coin, and then it moves. So it is of obviously different colors. So here it's pink, red, black, blue. So this is how. So we will use circle of JavaFX to kind of build this UI part. So uh, coin, circle, coin. Then current position. So integer int current position. What else? Let's take as name. Okay, so string name. I think this should be good enough. And yeah, so the important part is now we need to initialize these things. We need to do a lot of stuff. So this is how a basic player look like. Now let's go ahead and kind of what kind of create the things. So let me first go on and write a constructor. Player. And for creating a player, what are all things we need? So kind of let's think it out again. So if I see, the very important thing is our tile size. So we can use it from here as well, or we can take it simply as a parameter. So tile size, and we have our tile size. Now what else? So obviously it won't make any sense if the colors of coin for every player is same. So just to make sure that colors of coin is different, I'll take color, coin color. I hope all of you know how to correct the threads. Alt enter, you see. Okay, and then color, coin color, and maybe we have, so with help of this color and tile size, we'll be able to initialize coin. Current position, we can set whatever we want as one, and let's take the name as well. So string player name. And now let me initialize the objects properly. Okay, there is some indentation issue. I'll fix it. So here I'll go ahead and kind of write coin equal to new circle, and here we can pass parameter as what we want as the radius of circle. So I'll give tile size by 2, and then coin dot set fill, and I'll give as coin color. So I have created it and I have set its color. Now I can set position. So current position equal to 1. Let's start from 1. You can set this as anything. So I'm setting current position as 1. You can set whatever you want. You can set to 0 or something, or out of board. It's all up to you. But remember, make sure if you are setting position anything other than 1, then make sure you modify the position coordinates array properly for that position, because for 1 I have, if I set position as 1, the coin should sit here. So that's how I have designed. You can design in another way. That's perfectly fine. So this is current position, and then the last thing is name. So name equal to player name. So kind of I have put on everything. Now this is done. What else we need to do? So our player is there, and we need to somehow put the coin of related to that player on the board. That will do. But on click of buttons, we should kind of, we will after rolling the dice, we'll get some number, and then we should be able to move players. So that's kind of very important thing. So let me write another method to move player. As of now, if you see, even in the board we haven't considered our snakes and ladders. So here also I will not consider that, and simply code just for normal, assuming if that there are no snakes and ladders here. We just need to move our player simply. So kind of, let me write another method, public move player, and that's it. We can call this method using the object of player. It does, I don't want anything, so public void move player. So when we can move the player and how we should move the player. So obviously we will roll a dice and we should move the player by kind of that many numbers, right? So let's suppose you got 5, so you need to move 5 steps. So let me take int dice value here. So what I'll do is I'll simply check if what can be, we can simply add. So like in generally we add, so current position plus equal to dice value. That's simple. But there is one more case. So that is like defining our winning condition. So what is, if I ask you like what is winning condition in a snake and ladder game? So let's suppose we know that like winner, whoever is the anyone who reaches 100 first wins. Let's suppose you are at 97. Let's suppose you are at 97. And then kind of you wanted to move. Do and let's say you got a 3. So you will win 100. But what will happen if you got a 4? So in our normal game, we stay at the same place. So just to make sure that we keep this constraint, so it depends, like if you want on 97, if you get any number that is with home addition gives equal to or more than 100, you can put that as well. But here just will make sure that if you get an exact 200, then only you can win, else you will stay on the same place. So just to make sure that, I'll here do a checking. So if current position plus dice value is less or equal to 100, then only I'll do this. This is step 1. So I have kind of incremented my dice value. Then what I want, then I want to kind of move my player. So how I can move my player? All of us know that we will be using the set translate method. So which coordinates do I need to translate? So I wanted to know which coordinates do I need to translate, and for that I need to get coordinates. And where coordinates are stored? So coordinates are stored here in board. So I'll come to the board class and I'll write a method, a kind of a getter method. So let's say here we have, I'll write int get x coordinates, int position and if position is greater or equal to 1 and position is less or equal to 100, then we can simply return, like what we can return position coordinates dot get position x, we have get key, and yeah, that's it. If this is not the condition, then return -1. So this is for x, and similarly we will have for y, but for y we will be returning value. So get y coordinate and position, and here I'll say get value. So this is like I have written code to get x coordinate and y coordinate. And now let me go ahead and kind of link this to here player. So when I'll come to player, I need coordinates to move. So I'll simply write, what should I say? uh, int x equal to get, so I need now board because I don't have board. So it's pretty clear. So however, how many players are playing doesn't matter. Let's say one player, two player, any game doesn't make any sense with the one player. So two players, three players, we need only one board. They all will be playing on the same board. So for that purpose, I'll create an object of board and I'll make it static. So static board, game board equal to new board. So I have created an object of game board, and now I'll use that get position. So index equal to game board position dot get x, and I can simply say position and y equal to gameboard dot get y coordinates and current position. So I'll get x and y, and then all I need to do is a coin. What is that I'll move? I'll move the coin, definitely. This is the circle which we will place. So coin dot set translate x, and I can say x. At the same time, coin dot set translate y, and I can say y. That's it. So now we have initialized a player, and with help of this function we are able to move the player as well. Now anything else that needs to be done? Yeah, we need kind of like this is let's make the variables as private circle. Obviously we shouldn't expose our variables in general unless needed, so this should be private, and this also, and kind of create getters and setters for this so that we can get circle out of the player class and put it on the board here in snake and ladder class. So kind of, I don't know whether if you people are aware of this or not, but this is a very kind of quick way. It's a kind of shortcut to generate getters and setters. So I'll do a right click, and then you can see generate. It can be this pop alt insert also works. So I'll click here, and I'll click on getters. I want getters for everything. Oh no, I don't want any getter for board, so I want getter for only these two things, three things. So I'll click OK. So you see I got all the getters generated. So folks, this is like another part is done. We have created a basic player class, and in this class we have initialized the player object with a constructor. We are kind of moving the players, and yeah, so moving the players, and then this getter methods. Now let's move ahead and kind of create our dice. So as of now, I'm just, so let me create a dice class as well. That will be very simple, but anyways, let's go ahead. So Java class dice. Why I'm creating a class is like, here in the requirements part, uh, our dice now we are working on. So why I'm creating a class is like so that you can make it configurable. So if you wanted more than one dice or anything, you can do that as well. But here I'll keep it very simple. So player, and And for creating a player, what are all things we need? So kind of let's think it out again. So if I see, the very important thing is our tile size. So we can use it from here as well, or we can take it simply as a parameter. So tile size, and we have our tile size. Now what else? So obviously it won't make any sense if the colors of coin for every player is same. So just to make sure that colors of coin is different, I'll take color, coin color. I hope you all of you know how to correct the threads. Alt enter, you see. Okay, and then color, coin color, and maybe we have, so with help of this color and tile size, we'll able to initialize coin. Current position we can set whatever we want as one, and let's take the name as well. So string player name. And now let me initialize the objects properly. Okay, there is some indentation issue, I'll fix it. So here I'll go ahead and kind of write coin equal to new circle, and here we can pass parameter as what we want as the radius of circle. So I'll give tile size by 2, and then coin dot set fill, and I'll give as coin color. So I have created it and I have set its color. Now I can set position. So current position equal to 1. Let's start from 1. You can set this as anything. So I am setting current position as 1. You can set whatever you want. You can set to 0 or something, or out of board. It's all up to you. But remember, make sure if you are setting position anything other than 1, then make sure you modify the position coordinates array properly for that position, because for 1 I have, if I set position as 1, the coin should sit here. So that's how I have designed. You can design in another way, that's perfectly fine. So this is current position, and then the last thing is name. So name equal to player name. So kind of I have put on everything. Now this is done. What else we need to do? So our player is there, and we need to somehow put the coin of related to that player on the board. That will do. But on click of buttons, we should kind of, we will after rolling the dice, we'll get some number, and then we should be able to move players. So that's kind of very important thing. So let me write another method to move player. As of now, if you see, even in the board we haven't considered our snakes and ladders. So here also I will not consider that, and simply code just for normal, assuming if that there are no snakes and ladders here, we just need to move our player simply. So kind of, let me write another method, public move player, and that's it. We can call this method using the object of player. It does, I don't want anything, so public void move player. So when we can move the player, and how we should move the player. So obviously we will roll a dice, and we should move the player by kind of that many numbers, right? So let's suppose you got 5, so you need to move 5 steps. So let me take int dice value here. So what I'll do is I'll simply check if what can be, we can simply add. So like in generally we add, so current position plus equal to dice value. That's simple. But there is one more case. So that is like defining our winning condition. So what is if I ask you like what is winning condition in a snake and ladder game? So let's suppose we know that like winner, whoever is the anyone who reaches 100 first wins. So let's suppose you are at 97. Let's suppose you are at 97, and then kind of you wanted to move to and let's say you got a 3. So you will win 100. But what will happen if you got a 4? So in our normal game, we stay at the same place. So just to make sure that we keep this constraint, so it depends. Like if you want on 97, if you get any number that is with home addition gives equal to or more than 100, you can put that as well. But here just will make sure that if you get an exact 200, then only you can win, else you will stay on the same place. So just to make sure that I'll here do a checking. So if current position plus dice value is less or equal to 100, then only I'll do this. This is step 1. So I have kind of incremented my dice value. Then what I want, then I want to kind of move my player. So how I can move my player? All of us know that we means we'll be using the set translate method. So which coordinates do I need to translate? So I wanted to know which coordinates do I need to translate, and for that I need to get coordinates. And where coordinates are stored? So coordinates are stored here in board. So I'll come to the board class and I'll write a method, a kind of a getter method. So let's say here we have, I'll write int get x coordinates, int position and if position is greater or equal to 1 and position is less or equal to 100, then we can simply return, like what we can return position coordinates dot get position x, we have get key, and yeah, that's it. If this is not the condition, then return -1. So this is for x, and similarly we will have for y, but for y we will be returning value. So get y coordinate and position, and here I'll say get value. So this is like I have written code to get x coordinate and y coordinate, and now let me go ahead and kind of link this to here player. So when I'll come to player, I need coordinates to move. So I'll simply write what should I say, int x equal to get so I need now board because I don't have board. So it's pretty clear. So however, how many players are playing doesn't matter. Let's say 1 player, 2 player, any game doesn't make any sense with the 1 player. So 2 players, 3 players, we need only 1 board. They all will be playing on the same board. So for that purpose, I'll create an object of board and I'll make it static. So static board game board equal to new board. So I have created an object of game board, and now I'll use that get position. So index equal to game board position dot get x, and I can simply say position and y equal to gameboard dot get y coordinates and current position. So I'll get x and y, and then all I need to do is a coin. What is that I'll move? I'll move the coin, definitely. This is the circle which we will place. So coin dot set translate x, and I can say x. At the same time, coin dot set translate y, and I can say y. That's it. So now we have initialized a player, and with help of this function we are able to move the player as well. Now anything else that needs to be done? Yeah, we need kind of like this is let's make the variables as private circle. Obviously we shouldn't expose our variables in general unless needed, so this should be private, and this also, and kind of create getters and setters for this so that we can get circle out of the player class and put it on the board here in snake and ladder class. So kind of, I don't know whether if you people are aware of this or not, but this is a very kind of quick way. It's a kind of shortcut to generate getters and setters. So I'll do a right click, and then you can see generate. It can be this pop alt insert also works. So I'll click here, and I'll click on getters. I want getters for everything. Oh no, I don't want any getter for board, so I want getter for only these two things, three things. So I'll click OK. So you see I got all the getters generated. So folks, this is like another part is done. We have created a basic player class, and in this class we have initialized the player object with a constructor. We are kind of moving the players, and yeah, so moving the players, and then this getter methods. Now let's move ahead and kind of create our dice. So as of now, I'm just, so let me create a dice class as well. That will be very simple, but anyways, let's go ahead. So Java class dice. Why I'm creating a class is like, here in the requirements part, our dice now we are working on. So why I'm creating a class is like so that you can make it configurable. So if you wanted more than one dice or anything, you can do that as well. But here I'll keep it very simple. So here I'll simply generate a random number between 1 to 6 and return it. So public int get rolled dice value, and nothing. All I need to return a random number between 1 to 6. So return, I'll write, I hope you must have used math.random into 6 plus 1. Put everything in a bracket and then typecast it to int. I hope all of you understand it. If you don't understand it, try to kind of print this math.random and see what is the values it is generating. Then print this multiplication and then print this plus 1. You will be able to understand it. Fine. If you kind of wanted to see, I can, that you can do. That's a part. So pause the video, do their experiments to understand math.random or read about it and then move ahead. Fine. So I'm leaving this part totally for you folks. So I have now dice as well. Now it's time to kind of link things together. Okay. So Let's see what all we have. So now we have the board almost ready with things. Let me kind of comment out this main. We don't need it. It was just for testing purpose. So we have player, we have dice, and tile is like we have created it for UI. So we have our dice, we have the player, and we have the board. We have related kind of the board class with player. So now we are, and we have this snake in ladder class. So now we need to bring everything here and kind of relate so that we can kind of actually start the game and play the game. Okay, so now if we see what all we have in place is like uh, we have designed the coins, they are not on the board. We have kind of board, snakes and ladders are still not there. We have dice and we have players. So almost everything apart from snakes and ladders are there. We'll add snakes and ladders at the end of the lecture. So let's go ahead and kind of add all these things, the coins, the board, buttons, and everything, so that we can actually start playing our game. So now I'll go ahead and kind of I'll create a few objects, and then maybe we will see how we can relate with them, how we can actually use them. So first of all, let's kind of go ahead and see what all we have. So let's create some objects. So first of all, we need only one dice, right? So I'll create private static dice equal dice equal to new dice. Even I could have made that function static, and we could have directly used, but let it be this way. So I have a dice. Now what is the next thing we need? Obviously we need different players. So I'll say private player 1, and then player 2. So these are kind of two players private. The class type is player. So we have player 1 and player 2. Board is already related with player. Anything else? So we have player, and the board is related with player, and we have dice, and this is our main snake and ladder game. So we have player and we have dice. So here in this, what we can do is like once we have all the kind of UI components ready. So here our UI components are ready. We can kind of initialize players as well. So player 1 equal to new player. What all we need? So we need tile size. So let's give tile size. Then coin color, let's keep it as black. So I'll give color dot black dot black. And then let's give name as, I think, Amit. Let's see how we can use that name later. This is player 1, then player 2 is like new player again. Then let's decrease. It may happen, all of us knows that it can be a situation that two players may reach at the same point. So if we keep our dice of kind of same mm, size, so and they will overlap completely each other, and we'll not be able to see like which all two players are, just like here. So I'll keep this dice a bit I know sorry dice I'll keep this coin a bit shorter. So I'll do is tile size minus, let's say, 5. That should be good enough. And then color dot white, and let's say in the name I'll give Sumit. So we have our players ready. Now we have players. Let's go ahead and kind of put the dice on the board. Put the dice on the board. So how we'll do that? So here I need to kind of put the dice. So player 1 dot get coin. So sorry, I misspelled, it should be coin. Let's put the coin, not the dice. And so here in this main root, I added the coin, first coin, and then simply the second coin. So player to dot get coin. I have added the coins here also. The players are ready. Now let's run the game and see. Like at least if our coins are in place, and then we will see how we can use the button. Okay, it is here somewhere outside, right? Not here. Why it is this so? Because we haven't moved it in. So let's do that here in constructor. As soon as the player will be created and their position is assigned, I'll call this method move player as well, so that they are moved to their, they are translated to their exact positions. So move player, and I should, what should I say? So let's say the position gives us 0, or yeah, that should be good enough. For here I can set current position as 0, and then here passes 1, so that they are set to position 1. Anything you can do, totally depends on you. So this is, I have done. Now let's go ahead and rerun it to see if our dices are, our coins are in place, not dice. Okay, awesome folks. So on the UI front, we can say that everything is now ready. The board is there, the displays are there, the buttons are there, and the coins are put on the board. Now all we need is kind of start the game and kind of relate this. So instead of doing it for both players, let's make player 1 functional. So let's see how we can make player 1 functional. So let's kind of guys, on we have this button, right? So on click of this button, the player 1 should move. So let's go ahead and kind of write something. So here our players and everything is ready. Now I'll go ahead and write kind of moving players, or let's say player action. So button player 1 button dot. There is a way so that whenever we click on this button, in the definition of button you have read like we can do some task on the action. This events are generated. So on click of button, I wanted to kind of move player 1, I wanted to roll the dice and everything. So for that we have a method set on action. So type player 1 dot set on action, write new, a space, and enter. Event handler, that is, you got it. Yeah, so that's the auto generated piece of code. I'll repeat once more time. So set on action is there, new, and the first you can select. So you got it. Now whatever you will write here, so if you wanted to kind of read a bit more about it, you can simply go and kind of set on, press it here, set on action, Java FX button. So button with example, button using set on action, you can kind of read set on action sets the value of property on action, so you can read about it, fine. So the button's action which is invoked whenever the button is fired, that's it. So whenever the button is pressed, this property will be kind of invoked. So let's go ahead and kind of write some code here. So as of now, let's let it be very, very simple. So as soon as I click this button, I'll roll the dice. So kind of let me kind of write things here. What all I'll do on click. So on click of button, I will roll the dice, and it will give me some value. And as soon as I got that value, I will say I'll move the play, I'll display it. where I need to display it, I'll display that value here on start game, and then I'll move the coin. These are my three objectives. This is what happens. So you, in actual game, you roll the dice and you see what's the value on the dice. So rolling the dice, displaying is kind of seeing what we got, and then moving the coin. Same steps as in the actual game. So let's do it. So how we'll roll the dice? So let me say int dice value equal to dice dot get roll dice value. So we have rolled the dice. Now we want to display the value. So let's see what is, let's find this control and display the value there. So what is that control? So it's like label player. We have a dice label. So I'll put the value there. So dice label dot set text. This is the important method of label. So using this, whatever you will provide in the parameter, that will be set at its value. So I'll give dice value dice value. So the dice value should appear on the dice label. And once these two things are done, I wanted to move the player. So player 1, I wanted to move player 1 dot move player. How much? The dice value. That's it. Three simple things: rolling the dice, seeing the value on the dice, and then moving the player. Simple enough. So let me stop here and let me try to run the code and see if we are able to move the player. Okay, so on click of button 1, yeah, the dice value is 1 and it moved one place. Dice value is again 1, it moved one place. Dice value is now 5. So from 3 plus 5 it is 8, and now it is at 8. Okay. Again. Okay, folks. So that's awesome. We are able to quickly move it. 3, and on 1 we should win. We haven't, yeah. So we need to kind of, as soon as we win, we need to change condition, but yes. So congratulations, folks. We have done something. We have completed something. That's great. So now we have put everything in place and we are able to move one player from starting till end point. So that's great. Obviously, we need to take care of a lot of things, but this is kind of important. What should I say? This is kind of an important milestone that we are actually now, after a lot of coding, board, player, dice, and everything, now we are seeing things together in the action. So congrats. That's great. So we have completed playing at least one round with player 1. Now let's go ahead and kind of put all the complete the logical parts, put the completeness to some logic so that we can move ahead. So guys, we have based on UI, we have 3 buttons: player 1, player 2, and start. So let's create some different variables. Obviously, we want to make sanity in the game. So let's say if player 1 has played for one time, then it shouldn't get the next chance immediately. Player 2 should get the chance. So that's how things should happen. So kind of let me go ahead and create some variables and put things in place. So we have 3 buttons: start button, player 1 button, and player 2 button. So, and we need to make sure that the players are getting turns as they wanted, like one after another alternatively. So for that, let's go ahead and kind of create a few more variables. So here I'll create let's say boolean, private boolean. I should say game started, and I'll set it as false. I should say first player one. I should say, yeah, player one turn, and I'll set it as true initially, and then player two turn, and I'll set it as false initially. So game started is not is false, player one is also false, and player one is true, player one can play, and player two is let's set everything as false. That's it. So this is the initial condition. Now whenever someone kind of say like click on start game button, we should kind of initialize these variables properly. So now you already know how we can write events on click of button, perform action. So let's go ahead and do it for the start button. So here I'll go and let's say start button dot set on action, and I'll write an event handler. So what all we want, first of all, whenever this button is clicked, we want game started equal to true. That is one thing. Then on this label, we wanted to kind of set as game started. So I can say key, what is a dice label dot set text game started. Also, I want key here, I get like your turn, and I should kind of be able to write the name of player as well. So let me try that. So player one label dot set text equal to your turn plus player one dot get name. So your turn, Amit. At the same time, so this is done. I'm giving, and before that, I must set like player turn, player one turn equal to true. Also, I need to make sure the sanctity. So here I'll do player two turn equal to false, and I should kind of erase the text whatever that is there on the player 2 label. So player 2 label dot set text, or I think there should be some clear text dot, okay, dot remove set text, and I'll set it as empty. So here what I have done, initially game started, then your turn with player name, here it's empty. Let me disable this button. So here I should do that so that you can't click the button again. So button start button dot set disabled equal to true. So set disabled is a method which disables the button. You can't click the button anymore. So with button we have made these changes. For player 1 we have made these changes. For player 2 we have made these changes. Anything else? Well, maybe if you wanted to do anything more as well, you please feel free to do it. There is kind of you can improve it as much as you want. There's no end to it. So, but I'll stop here, and then I'll see like if things are working, and then after that I'll move to kind of writing this method properly. So if I click on start, things should set up, and initially this should not. Oh, this is working. So kind of this is an issue. So it shouldn't work before the start. So why it is working? It is working because on player 1 button we haven't set any conditions. Anyway, let's see if our start is working properly or not. So I click on start, game started. Can I click it? Well, it seems I can click it. This says is disabled. Your turn, Amit. That's good. And here Amit is working. So here let me disable this button as well. So what I'll do is player 2 turn. What I'll do is so player button player 2 button dot set disabled equal to true. So this is also done. Also we need some very initial conditions, so I'll write a method for that as well and call it here, or maybe with starting without this. These are actions on button, but initially so we'll do that later. Even you can do that as well, there's no issue. So let me rerun the code and see if things are working. Okay. That's awesome. So yeah, game started and it is clearly visible that player 1 can play. Okay, so this is what the condition I want. Initial condition, we can set anything, that's up to us. So we can write a method for that as well. Now let's go ahead and kind of handle this properly. So what all things that I need to check, what all things I need to change, those things I should keep in mind. So let me kind of, if the game start is not enabled, so if game started, only then we should do anything. So that is the condition I placed. Now second is if it is the player 1 turn. So if player 1 turn, then only we should do anything. So these are two very important conditions to. So game started is not true, then nothing will happen. Player 1 turn is not true, nothing will happen. If these two things are true, then we need to do couple of things. So what are those things? So let's kind of, first of all, we obviously playing the game, so we need to do these things without any doubt. Is like we need to get the dice value, we need to set the proper text here, and then we need to move our player. There are some more things that we need to do now. So what are that? So first of all is like we wanted to disable. Now we wanted to clearly show that what is it's player 2's chance. So here I can simply write key player 1 turn equal to false. Player 2 turn equal to true. The current player, the player 1 turn is now false. He can't play, and this will make sure that it doesn't happen, and player 2 turn is now true. The player 2 will be able to play it. On top of it, I also want the texts to change. So I can simply do is like I want texts to change. So how I'll do that? So I'll make text here. I'll kind of delete the text from here, and I can also remove the text, enable text here, and enable this button disable this button as well. So let me try doing that. So here I can say player one button dot set disabled equal to true. I have disabled player one button. Player one label dot set text equal to nothing. These are for player one. So let's see, let's do things in a way. So these are the things for player one, and then we will do for player two. So I am setting this as true. I need to enable the button as well. So player two button dot set disabled equal to true, equal to false now. At the same time, player two label player 2 label, not 1. So player 2 label dot set text equal to your turn. And what's player 2? So player player 2 dot get name. So this is done. So I have kind of set player 2 name. So I have kind of enabled the button, set turn as false, and I have set the label as well. So that's great. So here, see, here there are three things. Kind of playing the game, disabling yourself from playing, I mean disabling the player who has played, and the another part is kind of enabling the other player to play. Okay, so this is kind of done. Also, after playing, we need to check the winning condition. So this is one important thing. So kind of we will put some method here to check this condition as well. Now this is all for player 1. For player 2, this will go as same. Only a few things that will change, and that is like enabling player 2, disabling player 2, and enabling player 1. Let's go ahead and kind of do the same things for player 2 as well. So this is all for player 1, and what I'll do is I'll simply copy everything and kind of in player button, player 2 button, and then I'll simply paste everything. So now everything is now all I need to do, I need to just make changes. So here I need to, instead of 1, I need to take it for 2. Player 2 turn. Oh yeah, so this is player 2 turn. Here instead of player 1, I need to pass as player 2. Here also I need to do for, means I just need to exchange things. So in this case I need to kind of disable player 2 because it's player 2 turn. So player 1 I and enable player 1 turn equal true, and then player 1 dot set disabled equal to false, and player 1 dot set text equal to, that's control X, and here control V. So instead of player 2 I need player 1. So player 1 is enabled properly and player 2 is disabled properly. Player 2 is disabled, and obviously the winning condition we need to check. But yeah, uh, it's like the very proper way of like the chances on the UI we will be able to see things very clearly. Now let me rerun and see if the things are working. Then we can go ahead and make a few more changes. Okay, so initial conditions we still need to work on, but let's see. Player 1 not working, player 2 not working. That is fine. So let me start the game. Game started and it is now clearly visible that it's player 1 chance. Your turn, Amit. And now your turn, Sumit. There should be a space, so I need to put in that. So yeah. Now Amit and again Sumit. Dice value is 6. Amit, Sumit, Amit, Sumit, Amit. So see how Sumit is. Sumit is currently now at I think 12. So let's see how it moves. So we got a value of 1 and it moved one step. Yeah, that's cool. So there is one thing that you can see is like here instantly the whenever kind of I am clicking the button, the players are moving in an instant. See from here to here. So it will look a lot better. It will look a lot good if it moves a bit slowly. So let's go ahead and try to add some animation to this. Some animation. So now I'll go back to my player class and I'll try to kind of add some animation to it. So how I'll do it? I'll write a function here. So private, let's say animate, or let's keep it void for the timing. And I wanted to kind of move. So private void translate player or translate animation. So I think there is a spelling mistake. Okay, translate animation. Oh, okay, fine. Translate animation. And now let me write the code. So I wanted to translate my players slowly. The movement should be a bit slow. So let's see how we can do this part. Let's start writing our code for moving the object pretty smoothly. So here we have translate transition uh, and I'll write animate equal to new translate transition. So there are two things we pass. So duration in milliseconds. So I'll give 1,000 and then the which object, like which object on the UI. So I wanted to translate my coin. So that I given. Now where I want to go, like from to which place. So for that I need to give like animate dot move set to x. So here I can simply call this method like get x coordinate and get y coordinate. So I'll call this, and then again similarly we will have set to y. So animate dot set to y, and I kind of move to y position as well. There is one very important thing. So animate dot set auto reverse. So what is this? You can kind of read a bit. So it happens is like it can go back. So we don't want. So we will auto reverses. It will revert. So I made it false. So these are the things. Now I will. Let's do one thing. Let me kind of play the animation. So animate dot play. So this will kind of move it slowly. So this is how kind of I am translating the player now with let's say in a minute, in a second, the coin and to the given positions. So let me go ahead and kind of add it to my move player. So here I'll do move player, and I'll comment out this all part, because now I don't need to translate in this method. I will move the player with this another slow movement. So now let's go ahead and try this out to see if it is working. I'll refresh it. I have restarted the build. Okay, so the UI is there. Let me start. Initial conditions we need to set. So player 1. Now this is good. To 6 it moved slowly. You must have observed it. Go. That's done. So you can clearly see it is moving. It is taking around a second to move from one place to another. You can kind of set it. You can even try to, if you want, in some ways you can set it as like how much distance it is moving. So for each movement now it is taking almost a second, almost a second, almost a second. So that's great, guys. Now the movements are looking more actual, and you can tweak this as you want. So how you can tweak is like, let's say here it's like if it is a move of 6 or it's a move of 1. So see, for 6 it took a second. If it is even a move of 4, it is taking the same time. Even if it's a move of 1, it will take same time. So you can kind of depend it on like move as well. So here you are getting the dice value, right? So you can get the dice value here, and this value you can kind of say a multiple of 100. Like say if it is 6, then it will move in 600, or let's say 100, multiple of 200 milliseconds. So that's what you can do as well. Let me do that. It will be quite interesting. So I'll say yeah, let's let it be same variable name, dice value, and to the dice value here I'll do is kind of 200 star dice value. So from 1 to 1200 now it will go for 6, and here I'll pass dice value. And okay, so this is done. Let's now try it. So see, there are a lot of such modifications that you can try. This is one that I just tried. You can try as many as you want. So let's see. Now it should move accordingly. Like, so start. Okay, for 1 it moved a bit slowly. Okay. See, now every move is according to its time. That's beautiful. So depending on how you want. So see, if the see it's lesser, so it moved fastly. So if you hope you are able to kind of now clearly see it. Great. Now it's kind of up to you how you want this. Just kind of make sure you tweak it the way you want. Let's go ahead and do a few more things. Now the most important part, what I should say, that is left is our snakes and ladders are still out of equation. So let's bring them to equation now. The time has come when we should bring them into equation. So how we will bring the snakes and ladders to equation? So let's go to the board, because obviously snakes and ladders are a part of board. So let's see our board class, how it looks like. So our board is kind of, we have an array position coordinates, and we have kind of mapped the coordinates of each number on our board. Each number on our board has some xy coordinates, and we have mapped all those numbers with their respective coordinates here with some logic. We are getting x and y coordinates. So how we can map our snakes and ladders, or how we should handle, so that whenever we reach a snake, we go to its tail. Whenever we see a ladder, we move to the next point. So how we can do is like, let's go ahead and create one more array. Let's go ahead and kind of create one more array, snake and ladder. And in that array, we will kind of map. So let's say if I ask you, if you are at 1, let's understand it here, how we are thinking. So let me take this picture and kind of say, put it here. So if I ask you, let's say you are currently at, I mean, yeah. So let's say you are currently at 3. You are currently at 3 and you wanted to move. So you wanted to move. So where and you are currently at 3 and now you wanted to move. You are at 3, where you will move? Nowhere. If you are currently at 4, if you reach at 4, you will definitely go to 25, right? If you are at 7, 8, nothing. But if you are at 13, you will go to 46 because there is the ladder. If you are at 39, nothing. But let's say if you are at 40, you will come back to 3. So there are some positions on which there is no snake and ladder where you can't move. You will stay there only. No move possible. But there are some other positions where there might be a snake or a ladder where you need to move. So if there is a ladder, then you need to move to the top of the ladder. And if there is a snake, you need to move to the bottom of the snake. I think tail of the snake. So let's go ahead. So what we'll do is we'll create another array. We will map each number to itself, each index to itself. And on those indexes where we will have some snakes and ladders, we will put them. So let's say for 13th index. So if you reach the 13th index, if you reach the 12th index of the array, you don't need to go anywhere. But if you reach 13, go to 46. So every index is kind of our number. And let's say if there is a snake on that, the value on that index, on every index will place the same value from 0 to 100. And if there is a snake, we will put the value of its tail, and if there is a ladder, we put the value of its head. So let's say if on 74 index, we'll put 92. That's it. On let's say 89 index, we'll put 53. That's it. Pretty simple. So let me go ahead, and if you don't understand this, pause a video, rewind it, and then you will be able to understand. If still not, you can reach out to me. So I'll create another array list. So array list integer, and it's only like, what should I say? Snake ladder position. Let me kind of create this here. So let me write another method to kind of work out this array. So this is, we have populate position coordinates. So now I'll write another method, private void populate snake ladder. That's it. So this time po populate snake ladder. So let's go ahead and snake ladder position equal to new array list. It's there. First of all, let's add all the numbers to its indices. That's it. So for I equal to 0, I less than 101, I plus plus, and here I'll simply add snake ladder dot add I. That's it. So now I have mapped each index with the same value. So the one part is done. And now we can kind of map our snakes and ladders. So how we'll do that? Let's do it manually by taking a look at, and this is what I need. So let's do it manually by taking a look at here our actual board. So how will do it? So let's start from starting. So scanning at 4. So what I'll do simply is snake ladder dot put dot add. So we have add and we have an index and the element. So add, what is the index? 4. And what is the element we wanted to put, where we will reach? So 25. snake ladder dot add again. And what is the next value we have? So let's go ahead and kind of add our snakes and ladders. So you can see the first we encounter a ladder at 4. So what I'll do is like snake ladder dot set at index 4. I wanted to go to 25 when I reach 4. The next, if we go on and see, we'll see 27. So on 27, I need to go to 5 because there is a snake. So snake ladder dot set and then 27 to 5. Similarly, if you go ahead 28, 29, 30, 31, on 33 you get a ladder to go to 49. So I can say snake ladder dot set 33 to 49. If we keep on moving forward, we get 40 to 3. So we have snake ladder dot set 40 comma 3. So you can do it similarly with whatever picture you have used. If you have used the same as mine, you can do it in the same manner. If you have used something else, you can do it. But yeah, it totally depends on where your snakes and ladders are positioned. And it has nothing. Okay, so where your snakes and ladders are positioned, that's a list kind of mapping we are creating. Now what I did is I just paused the recording for a while and then I wrote everything what is there. You can do it and then move ahead. So this is what I have done. Now let's see if things are fine or not. So for that you can obviously use our main or anything else. Let's go ahead and kind of, I'll need to make sure that this method is called as soon as our board is created. So for that I need to call it in the constructor. So this is also done. So my snake, I have put snakes and ladders in position. They are now on my board. And now we kind of need to relate them, like how if we will know that if a player reached at 4, he need to move to the next position. So for that, let me kind of go to the player class and make some changes here. So this is moving the player. So let's say our player moved to some point. Let's put everything because the things make only sense if we are under our limits. So let's say our player moved to some extent. The player made a movement of some points, something, and then the next thing comes up is like, is there a snake or ladder that is possible? So let's go ahead and kind of try to find if we have another new position. So int new position equal to, what I'll do is here in the board I'll write new function. So get, after here I can write get snake public and get snake get new position. And here I need to kind of find like what is my, I need to give my current position. So int if so the new position means if I'm bitten by a snake or I got a ladder to move ahead. So here if current position is greater or equal to greater than 0 and current position is less than or equal to 100. If this is the case, in that case all I need to do is return snake ladder position dot get and current position. So this may be same as previous position if it is not a snake or ladder, and if it is a snake or ladder, so this will be some different position, and here I'll return -1. Now I'll come back to my player class and I'll see new position equal to board game board dot get new position and current position. If new position not equal to current position, or yeah, and new position not equal to -1. So if the new position is not equal to current position, as well as if the new position is not equal to -1, in that case we again need to make a movement. So what if we can simply do is, like, now we can kind of make a movement. So here we can again call this translation. So let's set the current position. So current position equal to new position and call this translate animation. And then here I'll pass as 6. So let's take it, or 5. Let's take it a second to move. Or let's take it, be it 6. Fine. Take it a bit more than a second to move. So our player will move into situation from current position to the dice value, and now from there onwards it will move to the next position. Be it end of a ladder or tail of a snake. So this is how I have added snakes and ladders as well. Now let's go ahead and see if these things are working in our game or not. So I have run the application, and now let me see. So let's now wait to be bitten by a snake or getting a ladder. So let me start. So player 1, or one position only, player 2 only one. Okay, so player 1 got 2. So from here 2 plus 2 is 4, and then it moved to end of the ladder. See, it's working. again, so 25, 26. Okay, it's moving fine. This is also moving fine. Let's see if things work for a snake or not. It should work. Okay, so now from 38 it got 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 42 it climbed. Great. So ladders are working perfectly fine. Obviously then snake should also be working, but let's see. Let's wait for it to come. Okay, so we are just playing. Okay, again it got a ladder. Very lucky player 1 this time. Okay, let's hope the 99 snake caught it. Okay, if a 1. Okay, so see, now Amit is not moving. So 5, Amit didn't move. Sumit moved. Okay, so on 2 it reached, and now we haven't put any logic for winning condition, so we need to put that logic as well. So we'll do it after this. So yeah, now player 2, see again, so this is kind of an error. So we need to kind of, as soon as anyone reaches 100, we need to stop. Our ladders are working perfectly, and it's like we haven't written any separate code for snakes, so we can assume that snakes will also work. But yeah, it's better if we kind of get some chance to bitten by a snake, but that's not up to us. So anyway, means you people can give it a shot, and definitely in 1 or 2 plays at least some snake will caught some player. Okay, they all. So let's go ahead. So this is done. Our snakes and ladders are now working fine. But if you see, okay, I need to restart the game. So there is one issue here. And what that issue is, so if you see on any ladder, see, it got 3, so it reached here. So it is going directly here at the designated point. It is not like it You know what ideally should happen? It should move to 4 and then it should climb the ladder. So let's go ahead and change our animation in such a way that it should move till 4, means move till the head of snake or kind of starting of the ladder, and then it goes to the like a tail of snake or maybe top of ladder. So I'll come back again to player, and here you can see I'll make some changes to this. So what I'll do is, instead of playing this animation here, I'll return it. So I'll write translate transition. I set everything, and here I'll return animate. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to kind of play two animations sequentially. And for that we have some things in JavaFX, but obviously folks, make sure that you go ahead and read about translate transition, how to use it, because those things are part of our code, so we should be knowing it. So now let me come here, and here you can see, let me kind of say translate transition simple move equal to this is what I get, simple simple move, and I get a move. And what I need to do, I remove that play, so I can say move dot play, and or instead of simple move, let us move first move, and then this can be our second move. So kind of let me create another variable. This is first move, and then there should be a second move, and first move. So second move I'll get here, second move equal to, I get here, and this piece of code, and here let me assign second move equal to null. So it is possible that there may be a snake or ladder, or it is not possible. So this if condition may or may not be true. So based on that, here what I'll do is, if this is not true, or if we don't have, so if this is not true, then we will have null in the second move. So what I'll do is, so if second move equal to null, then we don't need to do anything. We just need to play the first move. So first move dot play, and we are done. If we have both moves, first move as well as second move, in that case we need to take care of something. So else, so this is where we need to kind of move the first one, wait for a while, and then move the second one. And for that we have a sequential transition. So sequential transition equal to new sequential transition. Sorry. So new sequential transition, and here we provide these two transitions as a parameter. So first move, let me kind of close this. We provided first move, and then we need to take a pause. So new, we have pause transition as well. So pause transition duration dot millis, let it pause for, let's say 500, means half of a second, and or you can pause it for a second as well, no issues. And then the next part is second move. So I simply created a sequential transition, added my first move, added a pause in between, and then the second move. And well, that's it. Now I can play it. So what I'll do is, this is the else condition. So sequential transition dot play. That's it. We are done. So pretty simple way of pausing your transitions and movement. So make sure you read about sequential transition as well. So this is move player. Now let me kind of rerun the code, and what should I say, rerun the code and see how things are working now. Because now we are almost at the end, we have done almost everything. So let me, but yeah, we haven't set initial conditions as well, so that we need to do. So let me start the game. Player one. Let's see the magic. Okay, let's hope we get some snake or ladder soon. Hmm. I should add some music in between. That'll be interesting. Okay. So see, when the dice are overlapping, we can see clearly see the white dice on the white coin on the top and then the black coin below. Uh-huh. It reached 26. It waited for a while and then it came back. Snakes are also working perfectly fine. Uh-huh. Great, folks. So that's what we wanted to see. So the snakes and ladders are working perfectly as they are supposed to work. Now we have our game almost fully functional. So let's go ahead and kind of do some basic stuff. So we have two things that are remaining now: the winning condition and some final touch to the UI. One is winning condition and then some basic starting condition setup. That's it. So let's go ahead and do those things as well. So first of all, let's come to the winning condition. So on winning condition, we know that anyone who reaches 100 first. So let's go to the kind of, let's say, player, and we can say, uh, I think I should write a function here. So we should say boolean, or let me kind of return the name, or yeah, for we can check for player. So boolean uh, player one, and we will see. So if the condition is pretty simple, so if current position equal to 100, that's it. Return true. In all other cases, return false. So this will say like if the player is has won the game or not, and this is done. Now we will go ahead and check winning condition for both our players here. So here I have kind of simply written winning condition. So on winning condition, we need to kind of go to say initial condition with kind of say just a message, or let's kind of stop the game and give a message. So here, what are all the things that we need to do? So first of all, disable the, so if here we need to check. So player, which player it is, I don't know. So it is player 2. So let me write for player 2 dot 1, player 1. Or instead of, let's me write a good method name is winner. That looks good. Is winner. Okay, that this looks good. So is winner. So if this player is winner, so is winner. So if it is true, then only we need to, on false, we just need to do the usual things. So if this player is a winner, so what all we need to do? So here we need to kind of, if this player is winner, then kind of like announce the winner. So where we will announce on the dice part. So if dice label dot set text winner is player 1, this is player 2, dot get name. So we announce the winner. Who is the winner? Then what we need to do? Then we need to kind of say key player. This the player is winner, and then we kind of need to disable the both turn buttons. So kind of, if I see if there is a else, so if the player someone will win, then the conditions will be different, else the conditions will be different. So everything will fall into else. And if someone wins, so what will happen? So if someone wins, in that case we will disable both the buttons, we will disable both the turns. So what all we'll do, player 1 turn equal false, player 1 button set disabled equal true. We want to disable the button, and we kind of wanted to remove the text as well. So player 1 everything is disabled, player 2 everything is disabled. That's it, we are done. So kind of we need to disable everything for the players at the same time. Players are disabled, but we need to kind of enable the start button. So start button dot set enable set disable equal to false. And let's change this text. So start button dot set text equal to restart game. Restart. That's it. So it's now a restart. Yeah. So we have enabled this button. This button is enabled, and instead of start, it has now a text of restart. So this is, I think we have done, this is for player 2. Let's go ahead and kind of set this condition for player 1 as well. So I think it's almost same instead of like just the name. So here I'll go ahead and kind of, after this, then winning condition, if player 1 dot is winner player 1, and that's it. Everything else is fine, and these should come in else part. So yeah, now everything makes sense. So we have set the winning condition. Now let's see again to see if things are working. If the winning condition is fine, okay, starting conditions are yet to be set. Let's do it just after that. So game started. Amit, if you, yeah, see, Amit moved 4, it moved smoothly. So you can see the movements. Also, if you want on the buttons, you can put player names, no issue with that. So I hope any player wins quickly. Okay, so you can see there is a lag between. So the lag is because we are enabling and disabling buttons at once, but for translation and all we are taking time, so that's why it is happening. So let's see if one of the player wins. Okay. So I think now you can see the game in action. Everything looking pretty smooth. Okay, winner is Sumit. Restart. Why player 2 is still enabled? I don't understand. It should be like this. On restart, we haven't kind of see everything is disabled. So we kind of need to, what should I say? Correct this as well. So when the text is restart, What should we do? Player 1 is still disabled. So let's the very, I think, cleaning up things are left. So let's do that cleanup properly. So my player 2 button was not disabled. Oh, is winner. Set disabled is false. Why we have player 1 is winner? Okay, set disabled should be, we need to disable as true. Set disabled as should be true. This should be set disabled as false. Player 2 disabled was false. So that's why the issue was. So let me see. Here also set disabled, player 2 should be true. So that was the issue because it should have. And then whenever that restart is kind of set, then we need to kind of bring everything to kind of a fresh, right? So this is, and also make sure that our game, let's see what are things we have done here on our start. So game start equal to true, so kind of let's make sure that game start is false here, so that no one can kind of enter condition game started equal to false. So these are things, and now let's go ahead and kind of tweak this method properly. The starting method, so game started equal to true, set game started, player 1 turn equal to true, player 1 label is right, and we need to enable the player 1 button as well because it might not be. So player 1 button dot set enable disabled equal to false. So kind of setting condition as true, setting the name, and then enabling the button. For player 2, setting the text as null and disabling the button. So that's our initial condition. Yeah, it looks. And now when the game starts, whenever the game will start, what are the conditions that we want? So for that, let me kind of rerun the code and see what is there initially, and then we will kind of tweak that. Okay, so start the game. This looks fine. Kind of while creating, let these buttons be disabled initially, both of them, and let this turns be kind of null. So here I have created those variables, so I will change them accordingly. So where is the button? Player 1, player 2. I have set translations, so along with that I'll say player 1 button dot set disabled equal to true. Similarly, player 2 button dot set disabled equal to true. I have disabled both buttons. And now on the label, I don't want anything initially, so let this be blank. Let this be blank as well. I don't want anything on the label. I want these buttons, and I definitely want the start button to kind of start the game, and the label should kind of look, the button should be enabled. That's it. Pretty simple, right? Nothing much. Let me rerun it and see. Okay, this is my initial condition, and that's how it looks. Game started and Amit turn, player 1. I'll press things quickly so you'll see some hodgepodge, but yeah. Okay, this is bad. This is still wrong. I don't know. There is some error in the code because player 1 is fine, but player 2 there is some issue. Let's go ahead and see the code. I think we have, so this is player 1, game started, player 1 turn. This winner is fine, else player 1 turn is false, player 2 turn is true. This is player 2 turn. And in normal condition, player 1 turn is true and player 2 turn is false, and player 2 turn set disabled should be true. So this was a bit of mistake, not an issue. Let's try that. This is okay. Now let's start the game. Player 1 turn, player 2 turn. Okay, now it's working perfect. So let me press as quickly as I can press. I think Amit and Sumit, let me kind of add, where is their names? Your turn. Wait, control set. Let me find this text. Control R. I wanted to replace. No. I wanted to replace Control R. I wanted to kind of Control C, Control V. How many matches? We have two, and I want a space here. That's it. Replace all. Now let me rerun it. So these are some final touches you can give whenever you want. But yeah, that's an important part. So let's go ahead and test the final things. So I'll start player 1, player 2. Now the names I'll play very quickly. Let's see. So I don't wait for transitions. I'll play quickly. You can reduce the duration, or also you can try to kind of come up with some ways to make sure that your buttons are not enabled till the transition is complete. So that way a lot of things can be done. But yeah, let me play quickly as I can, so you will see things moving. And yeah, so we can kind of almost, yeah, I got hidden. Let's see, I want to see the winner condition, and as soon as we are able to see the winner condition, we will be kind of fine. Our game is complete. Even if you have anything that is left, you can kind of go through the videos and understand it. So let me just wait quickly. Things are moving. A lot of snakes are biting this time. I don't know why. We are not lucky enough. None of the players. So anyways, random numbers. See, if it doesn't complete quickly, then I'll kind of use some other variable to set it to 100. Oh, that's really bad. Every time you can see uh, a lot of snake bites are happening this time. And in our first round, we were looking to see if it's possible to have a snake bite. Oh, it also got bitten by a snake. No problem. Uh, the snakes are what makes the game beautiful, because if it's only ladders, it doesn't make much of a sense. Okay, so I'll keep playing. Or maybe you can kind of go ahead and uh, fast forward the video just to make sure you save time. Let's see. There is a chance for Ahmed. No. Someone may think that I have put some logic. But anyways, let's see if Amit gets a chance again. That's bad. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, folks, so this is, we are almost done. I'm just waiting to see. You can skip these parts and kind of see at the winning condition, and that should be good enough. We may get a winner soon. Player 1 is almost stuck. I hope it doesn't get. I think Sumit is there. I hope Sumit doesn't get 1 and he gets a 2 soon. Let's see what happens. Anyways, both players are on top. Okay. Winner is Amit. We are done. Amit is winner. And now everything looks fine. We can do a restart. Yes, this is what I wanted to see. On restart, we need to do one more thing. We need to bring our players to the starting point. That is very, very important thing. And we have forgot that. So let me do that as well. So on start game, we kind of need to make sure that players come to initial position from where kind of they have started. And the one thing we can do is like we can simply create new objects for players. That is one way. But instead of that, kind of let's go ahead and bring players to starting point. So I'll write kind of what should I say, I'll write a function here and I'll call them bring players to, yeah, we need to set the position as 1, right, or whatever initial position you decide. So let me write a method for that. So what I'll do is I'll write private bring, I say bring, or what should I say, starting position. And I can say here, I can simply do nothing much here. So private void starting position, and here I need to say current position equal to 1. That's it. And then move player. Dice value 0. That's it. Also, I just need to call this method for player 1 and player 2, and it will be good to go. So this is done. Starting position. So here again I'll go in my this one, game restart or game start, and here I need to kind of make sure that I call that function. So player 1 dot I think what was the that method must be public. So public and starting position. So here I'll go starting position, and for player 2 also I'll do the same thing. So player 2 dot starting position, and I am good to go with these. Okay, let me do it. And this time I won't bother you people to kind of start and see. So let's play the game once again. I have started the game. I hope I get result in a minute, so I'll press things as quickly as possible. There should be some way to eliminate the snakes. I should have written so that we can kind of easily finish and test. So you can see simply things are changing as we want. So let me just take not more. I think a minute should be good enough to see the winner. And if it happens like the previous time, so we'll do something about that. I just want to escape from the 99 snake. Let's hope luck for Sumit. He doesn't get a 3 this time. Okay, winner is Sumit, and everything is in place. Now we just need to see if restart is working fine or not. So I'll press the restart button. Game started. Your turn, Amit. And I think we haven't restarted the game, so I believe the code is still old. The old code is running. So anyways, let me do that. Let me kind of restart. Have I don't remember. Anyways, so we need to do that again. Okay, pressing. It's pretty interesting to play your own handmade game. I don't know if it's for you people or not, but try playing it. You will enjoy it. It is your hard work, so that should be enjoyable. Just like they say. So let's see if some of our players get lucky this time as well, and our game ends soon. Sumit is ahead, Amit is below. Level. Okay, let's wish luck for Sumit. Oh, he's not that lucky this time. Okay, anyways, let me keep playing because kind of there's no way. I don't want to change the code just to test it. So let me do it. You can do one more thing. You can kind of try to simulate this using some test conditions as well, because this is a project. So you can try to simulate the playing with some test conditions, and that should be good enough. Okay, Amit, come back to. Okay, he also came back. Okay, I'll pause the recording and then see if someone reaches. So, folks, I have reached the winner condition. I played the game for a while and finally Sumit is the winner. And now I'll click the restart and see if things are working or not. So, on restart, again, things didn't came to the initial position, right? So, let me go ahead and see why it is happening and then let's fix it. Okay, folks, so earlier we see that our coded piece was not working. So I made a little change. I set the current position as 0 and then I'm moving the player by one distance. So if you see this move player, this is the dice value, this position sets, and then here we create a kind of translation. So all these things kind of works, right? So here I have made the changes and now let's go ahead and see if these things are also working or not. So supposedly these things should work. So I'll start the game again and then I'll play very quickly. I have decreased the time so that we can finish the game quickly. I'm waiting someone to go on the top. Okay, great. Back. Let's see if Sumit is lucky enough to not caught by snake. A 3. 2 now, not 1. Okay. So winner is Sumit. You can see the winner is Sumit. And now when I click a restart, oh, everything back to this. Your turn, Amit. Game started. Yeah, folks, we are done. So this is what we wanted. And here make sure that in kind of player starting points, we are setting the current position as 0 and then moving the player by 1 bit. That's it. Same thing we have done in our constructor as well. We were setting the current position as 0 and then moving the player by 1 bit. That's it. So folks, that's it. We have completed our application, a fully working snake and ladder game. Nothing now needs to be done. If you want some more customization, if you wanted to make it for more players and all, more dices and all, you can obviously go ahead, think about it and kind of build it. So now it's all up to you and we have completed it. And yeah, that's it. So let me kind of give you again a brief overview of everything. So how we started, we started with kind of taking the basic. If you see, this is my note. So we started with basic, like taking what is how the game actually looks like, then what are the things that we need, then kind of we understood our requirements, then we read about JavaFX application creation, and I explained you the auto-generated code. And then I have also explained you the grid system of screen, how it works. And then kind of we created the UI, created tiles, and then added a picture over it, created some buttons. Then I explained you the coordinates pretty well here by drawing in everything. And we completed our UI. After completion of UI, we created here on the class, like we have the snake and ladder class, we have buttons, we have everything in place. And finally we have kind of, if you see class wise, so we have a board, we have a dice is pretty small, almost you can say nothing. Player is a big one, the tile is also very small. Snake and ladder is mostly consisting of UI and some logic, and the board is consisting of all the logic related to board. and here the player is kind of having all the logic related to board. So that's it from my side, folks. Thanks a lot for watching all of the videos, and there are two things I wanted to emphasize. Like if you kind of wanted to give some feedback or something to me, like I can do something differently, I'll be happy to hear that. That's one thing. And another thing is, like, in the game, if you have any doubts or anything, you can kind of reach out to your batch managers and ask them to connect to me, and that you can do. So that's the another thing. And post that, just one thing, make sure you read everything, whatever controls, whatever functions, method which we have used. So read about everything so that you know these things well, and you can kind of easily leverage these situations. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Have a great day. Bye. Thank you so much.